Last we left off, you had returned from Tortle Keep, sold some of your loot in Kymel. Also, took up a job for Eliana of the class. You were sent to place a scrying pin on a group of individuals who were attempting to sell dragon eggs. You did successfully place the pin, but when a giant half-orc and his friends appeared and asked to take the eggs, you refused, and a battle commenced, in which both Richter and Astrid were knocked unconscious, for Zalia convinced them to just take the eggs and leave. They did agree, and upon returning to Eliana, Richter requested that a hit be placed on that half-orc, to which she advised him that this particular half-orc was a rather well-known member of the Myriad, and it would be nearly impossible in her current state of Clasp and Kymel to eliminate him. She had mentioned that I believe Zalia may have been the only person that knew this exactly, but whatever. That there were a number, she believed to be 5 people, members of the class who had been killed by, she believed, the Myriad, who were operating out of a manor in the northeast of town secretively, as they still were putting up the front of being quote unquote legitimate at their casino. You all decided to return to Iman from there, where Richter met his mentor Trike. Trike mysteriously showed up without saying a word, quickly handed this package to Richter and ran off. And upon returning to the Dragon's Bane Inn, Richter discovered that he had in fact been given the Shard of the First Flame, to which he decided to then have Malira attempt to destroy, and with a great amount of effort she did. And you also got a glimpse some of the rather immense power that Malira appears to possess. And you also learned that Aviana is in fact Valora Vasar, half-sister of the famed Vaxildon and Vexalia Vasar. And she asked for assistance in taking down Venom Fang, the Corruptor, who you all had learned may be lurking in the Ivyheart Thicket. And that is where we will start tonight.
So the question is, who wants to start off?
Well, if I recall, we were all kind of just still in the tavern, right?
Yep.
We were gonna go with Zalia just to speak with the class, but since she's not here yet, we have other stuff, I guess.
Well, Ilbrin is actually off. He's returning to his home to search for his friend, who he had originally tried to find before and couldn't. So he was going back there to see what he could find.
Did we get any sort of like a time limit, like when she wanted to go do this green dragon, or was it kind of just the sooner the better?
Yeah, I mean, it would be the sooner the better. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Because she's probably going to leave to do it with or without you guys. So.
okay.
And I think I remember Zalia saying that she was going to see the clasp on her own or something, while we went and did all the other random stuff. Because I remember her complaining about going on her own. Or not complaining, but being a bit salty.
Laylith, you were going to do what?
I had some people to visit about information, and maybe even visit the clasp with Zalia.
I know I wanted to check on Trike. Astrid, were you going to do something too?
Nope, I was just gonna follow Richter. Because I was like, I don't really have anything to do on my own, so join up with someone.
Alright.
We can all still go together and do Richter's thing and then go look for information.
I didn't know if you were like going to meet someone that you didn't want us to know about or something like that.
Oh no, it's not a super secretive thing. It's more of it's multiple places / people I need to talk to.
Okay. Well then, if we were all gonna head to the Lyceum.
Would it be safer, Lala, to go to the Lyceum though?
Well, I can make myself look like someone completely different, and or perhaps if I wanted to go and just like ask for someone to escort you around, and you have some research to do, and just kind of like keep your ears open to see if anything is said about a person named Drake.
I meant more Lala himself, because he went and got in that whole spat with the
Oh wait,
guy.
yeah, Layla did.
I actually have a plan for that because there is a guards barracks near the Lyceum, isn't there?
The guards barracks is in the military district. The
Or don't
Lyceum's
usually
in the...
like have guards stationed nearby?
I mean, there are guards all over the city, so yeah.
Well, I still have a kind of plan to deal with that if you two want to go into the Lyceum.
That works with us, or with me at least.
Yep.
Then yeah, I guess we all head there, and I'll ask as we're going. Do you think I should look like myself or someone else?
I believe looking like yourself would be okay. And you are still a student here. Perhaps being someone else would be raise suspicions, especially if they can potentially see through your magic.
I remember now that they were able to see through Ilbrins, so that is very good. Yes, true. There's nothing on the way that we need to stop and do. Like, I don't know what's in between us and the Lyceum, but
No, I have already sent my letter. I've already gotten a response from my father, which was great. And besides that, I have nothing else to do.
okay. Then to the Lyceum we go.
All right. You make up the Lyceum with particular difficulties.
All right. I'll look to Astronaut and say, just keep your ears open in case you hear anything about Trike. I'll do the same, and I'll kind of just like give her a tour of the whole facility, and like just keep my ears out for anything that's said about anything about like the shard or a robbery or anything like that.
All right. You guys can make a perception check.
Can I help?
Yep.
If you only want one of us to make it, I'd rather her because my perception is shit.
You can do it with advantage.
Okay.
Nope. You just hear boring school conversations.
Can we attempt to go to Trike's, I don't know, would it be office or quarters or anything like that?
We'd probably be able to go there without...
Yeah, I'll go and see if he's around.
So you go up to his office door and knock. Here. You guys are... I see him. You on this.
Ooh.
With what appears to be a giant whale of some kind or something hanging from the ceiling. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. So, as you knock, you hear some noises and like stuff being knocked over and just about a minute later, door opens up and Trike's standing there.
How does he look? Does he look like disheveled, like in a rush? Does he look like he's packing or anything?
No, he looks kind of disheveled, but he just kind of looks like that.
Okay. I'll look at him and say, you never came to meet me.
He sort of looks at you confused and goes, "Was I supposed to?"
Didn't you? Didn't you hear my message when you were walking away yesterday?
He just kind of, oh yeah, I must have slipped my mind. Come in, come in. Didn't expect to see you so soon.
Uh,
Victor, do you want me to come inside as well, or should I wait out here?
no,
He,
no,
he
come,
motions for
come.
everybody.
Yeah, and I'll introduce him. Trike, this is Astrid. She's one of the ones I've been traveling with. She actually competed in the tournament with me.
It's very good to meet you. My name is Astrid Luvenhelm of Vasselheim.
He reaches out for your hand. Pleasure, my dear.
She shakes it.
Is there anything off about him? Like, I've known him a long time. Does he seem like he's normal? Like, because yesterday he completely seemed out of it.
I mean, he seems normal now for what you
Okay.
would recognize. He didn't seem normal yesterday.
Okay. So what? I appreciate everything you've done, but why didn't you speak to me yesterday? You didn't tell me anything. You just handed me the package and walked away.
He kind of he reaches up and he's kind of like scratching at his neck, and he just kind of, you can tell that he's a bit uncomfortable.
Okay.
And he just kind of dodges the question. Like, can I offer you all some tea?
Oh, that would be wonderful.
I'm gonna cast Detect Magic
Okay.
just to see if there's anything about him. If he's like pretty much, I want to make sure it's him and not someone impersonating him or something like that.
All right.
So yeah, I'll just cast it real quick, and as he's like fixing the tea, I'll try to do it like without him noticing.
All right. So there are some magical items in the room,
Mhm.
as would be expected, but nothing on his person seems to jump out.
Okay.
I'll place my hand on Richter's shoulder and whisper, "We may be being listened in on. Be very careful of what you say next."
Okay. I just nod to him, and I'll say, so do you have any questions about my travel? I know I've been gone for a few weeks now.
Yeah, he finishes making the tea. Like, of course. Just give me a moment here, and does anybody want sugar?
Oh, 2 spoons for me, please.
And he does it. So I mean, he's just he doesn't appear to be. I mean, nothing appears to be odd other than he's just kind of an odd fellow anyway.
Okay.
But then he passes out the tea to everybody and sits down and sort of looks at you expectantly to tell him of your adventures.
I'll tell him. Well, we we traveled to Kymel. There was some sort of business going on in old ruins underground. The ones you've told me about. Do you remember?
I do.
Yes.
Port
Well,
Hill, right?
yes. We were there, and there was. I kind of look at Lilith and ask her. I say, it was a bit strange between the goblins and kobolds, and there were rumors of dragons and things in the thicket as well.
I've heard those rumors myself. Very dangerous.
Yes. It, a quick question, if you don't mind. You've been around Taldori for a very long time now. Do you remember the name Silas Briarwood?
I do. Yes. Yeah. Used to be in charge of Whitestone, as I remember.
Yes. Do you remember when his family was in charge of Whitestone? They had that problem with the tree in the center of the city. It seemed to be somewhat corrupted.
Vaguely.
Richter kind of looks to Astrid and Layla like, should I keep going? Like, He's just kind of trying to gauge if he's saying too much.
She just smiles and looks like she's not going to stop him in any way, and is in fact looking like she also wants to say a lot of things, but she's just letting him talk to Trike because he actually knows him.
I'm gonna take a guess and assume Laylath is stone-faced.
If you wish to, if he is your friend, tell him as much as you deem necessary.
Then I'll kind of say, well, when we were in Tortil, we went down a hole that was at the bottom of it, and we ended up in some sort of underground area that had cursed vegetation there. And I'll pull out, because I took a part of the twig blades, like bark, and I'll pull it out and I'll say, there were trees and brush and plants walking around, and there's one tree in the center of it all that seems to be spreading this plague.
So I also do have the research notes of Kerrigan, and she pulls out the book as well.
If there's anything you can tell us about how these trees work or how they affect the people that are corrupted by them, it'd be very appreciated.
Sort of just looks at it and goes, trees aren't really my thing. You'd probably be better off finding a druid for this.
Have you come across any that you are particularly fond of and would suggest that I speak to in your travels?
There's probably plenty of them in Zephyra. None that I know personally, but you know, that's always a good place to look.
Well, Astra, did you have any other questions? I know that you know some of the people that were affected by this.
Not particularly at the moment. I suppose if we do go to Zephyr, I would ask questions there.
And I'll look to him and I'll say, when you came to get me, well, when you met me in Whitestone, you were able to bring us back here rather quickly. Can you travel or let people travel to Whitestone that way as well?
Well, there's a teleportation circle in Whitestone now that you could probably use.
Where would we go to get passage to get us sent to Whitestone if we decided to make the trip?
Good question, actually. Not as him, but as the DM.
I don't remember what it's called.
I know, yeah, I know it's in Iman, but I can't remember what it's called.
I can hear the guy's fucking voice in my head.
Was it something like the Gateway or?
It's actually in the Lyceum, I believe.
I want to say it is too, but it's like a separate spot for something or something like that.
Because there's the Ivory Tower, which is where Allura lives, and then it's in the Lyceum, but then there was that dude that always got annoyed with him. There was the old guy that would show up and he would be like asleep, and they would show up and they'd get pissed off. He was a gatekeeper something, but I don't remember his name. But yeah, so it's in the Lyceum. I don't know that there's a specific place, but
all right. The only other question I would have for him about that is how much it would cost, or if I would get even like a discount since I'm a student.
I think it would be about 50 gold to use it.
And that would it be per person, or is it like the group fee?
I would say for the group you could do it.
Okay. Well, kind of looked at everyone. I say, well, if we do want to go try to look up any more information about the Briarwoods, we can at least get there rather quickly.
Listen, I wouldn't mind seeing Whitestone itself.
Well, I would at least have a place for a few of us to stay. Our home in Whitestone is rather small, but we would make do. And then I'll look to him and I'll say, have there been any reports from River? What's it? River Run? River's Bend?
River's Bend, yeah.
Yeah, I'll say. Have there been any reports from Riversbend? We heard that there was a dragon attack there. In when we were traveling, we actually saw a blue dragon overhead.
I've heard the same rumors. I think it's haven't heard exactly what's happened. Brisbane's not very big. There hasn't been too much information from it. It's the Traverse Junction. That's what it's called.
Yes.
I just looked it up.
Okay. All right. Well,
Critical Role Wiki is where I found it.
all right. Zalia is here now, right?
Yes.
Would you have had any questions to ask Trike about any of the stuff we've seen so far, or would you have not even come with us?
I don't even know what we're talking about right now.
We went to the Lyceum to see my teacher who gave us that thing to have destroyed.
Oh, yeah.
We don't know if you would have came with us or if you would have had anything to ask. So we were just asking them all these questions.
I don't know. Man, I am so out of it right now still.
No worries. Yeah, then I'll just look to everyone else and say, well, I believe we have some other business to take care of here in the city. Have you heard anything about there were supposedly some murders happening or disappearances happening in some of the slums?
He shakes his head. Haven't heard anything about that, no.
Before we left the city originally, the guard captain, or the master of arms or defense, whatever his title is, he was asking or questions about it. Well, then I will leave you to your work. Is there anything you need from me?
He sort of thinks for a moment. He goes, I don't think so, no.
Well, again, thank you very much for all your help. I'll check back in or rate you as soon as we decide where we're gonna head to.
That was good, Richter.
I'll stand up, shake his hand, and kind of just open the door for everyone else.
It was a pleasure to meet with you, Trike. The tea was quite delicious.
My pleasure, dear.
Thank you for your company, sir.
He sort of just looks up at you like, and kind of waves.
Well, at least we know we have a quick way to get across the continent if we do want to try to travel to Zephyr or Riversbend.
Can I find like a receptionist before we leave?
I would gladly bring you to whoever would kind of fit that sort of a description, like in whoever like works at the front. Yeah.
Excuse me. I probably won't be able to get an audience with the headmaster, but I would like to offer him my apologies for what happened a few weeks ago. My name is Lalaflival, and I was just inquiring what happened to the item we left in his possession.
As soon as Victor hears him saying that, he turns and walks away.
They just say that they'll make a note of it and pass it along.
Thank you very much. And I'm out.
As we're walking out, Richter kind of just looks at me and goes, why would you want to bring their attention to the fact that that's not here?
It's more of a, how should I say this? A middle finger. As politely as I can put it.
I understand. I just.
Plus, it never harms.
We weren't in this.
It never harms when people hear an apology and a question.
Okay. Well, I guess we're off to your stops next, Layla.
Should not take too long. So I've got one to the embassy, one to the Temple of Bahamut, and one to the temple or temples of Corellon, and if they have one, which I very much doubt, one to Bandria.
Yeah, of those places, there is a temple to Bahamut, but that's it.
So they don't.
And actually, real quick, where would you be heading to last, Lilith, out of all those places?
Probably the Temple of Bahamut.
All right. Can I stay here and borrow a spell book to copy a second level spell over?
Sure.
All right. And I'll just tell them that I will meet them at the Temple of Bahamut whenever they get there. I'll probably be done a little bit before them.
Very well. So to the embassy we go.
So you're going to the Larangorn embassy?
I am, yes.
Okay. So it probably takes you half an hour or so to walk over there.
Is there anyone on the front desk or in the main opening?
Yeah, you walk in and you see a number of elves just going about their daily business, office work basically.
I'd walk up to the equivalent of the receptionist.
Okay.
Good evening. I am Aleph Lival. I'm wondering if I can have an audience with the ambassador of Lurengorn, please.
Do you have an appointment?
I do not. I'm asking about some citizens of theirs who may have gone missing. I am also a citizen. I show him my signet ring.
He's just flipping through pages, sort of. He's like scanning through things to see. It's like just a moment, like annoyed, and like closes the book and walks back. Sort of motions for you to sit down.
Looks like today I'm going to be good at annoying people.
So it's probably 10, 15 minutes that you're sitting there waiting, and the same elf comes back, motions to you. This way, please.
And follow.
So you make your way back there. And you go into this. It's a rather nice office that you're led into, given the fact that this embassy is not very large. And the office itself actually appears to be the nicest area of the. I mean, like the rest of it's kind of shabby, but when you walk into the office, you can tell that, like, oh well, this guy, you get the idea that it's like it's for appearances. It's the idea that where you would be meeting with the ambassador, you're in a nice place, whereas sort of the rest of it's a bit run down. So they sort of funnel all their money into making this meeting place kind of nice. So
Oh yeah, not
as
a
you
lot of
walk
people
in,
deal with Lurengorn, so it's understandable.
yeah. So as you're let in, you see there is a best you can tell. Again, it's very difficult to tell with elves, but this is it's a wood elf, and he appears to be a bit older, so you assume that he's probably pretty friggin' old if he's an elf that looks kind of old. But his name is Adlam. A-D. Write it. And he just sort of motions for you to sit down. He's very striking. Wood elves are not as large as some of the other elves, but he's still very striking. Kind of dark skin, got dark hair with streaks of gray in it. And he just motions for you to sit down and asks, what can I do for you?
Oh, first off, a few weeks ago I found myself in a unfortunate situation, and someone from the embassy helped me out of it. I would like to offer my thanks, whether to you or someone else, first of all.
sort of nods.
Second of all, I am a Velier from Liringon. I'm currently searching for two others. They would be Sontar and Vamir Lefal. They have gone missing.
Sort of looks up, sort of thinking. Says, they did come through here a few weeks ago, I believe, on their way to Singorn, I believe. Of course, Singorn is also currently in the Feywild, so
And they were well.
seem to be.
That is fantastic news.
And he sort of, well, I'm glad I could be of help in that regard. Was there anything else that I could do for you? You can tell that he's kind of in a hurry,
Uh,
but he's playing it cool. But
how many weeks ago was this, if you don't mind me asking?
probably 3. We don't get that many visitors, but it's hard to remember exactly. They probably left. There's probably some documentation of the visit.
So would that have been while we were in Kymel and in the ruins?
It would have been before that,
So
most likely.
just before what we got to Imon.
Well, it would have been. It's actually kind of in between. So it was probably. Um, it would have been while you were on your journey to Kaimel. So you hadn't gotten there yet.
Okay.
That they would have shown up.
Now I'll just get in the timeline right in my head.
So it would have been roughly 2 weeks or so after you showed up. Well, from the tournament that you were in. So the first day of the year, it would have been about 2 weeks after that they showed up, and you guys would have been on the road to Kaimel at that point.
Well, thank you, Adlam, for this information. I had heard rumours that I had died over a year ago, so I am truly glad that my father and brother are still alive.
I'm glad that they are as well.
I'm sorry for taking up your time. I will leave you be.
No problem at all. And he sort of shows you out.
That's quite helpful for that one. And I think the second one was the Temple of Bahamut.
Okay. So you make your way over to the Temple District.
I don't know if I'd already be there. I don't know how long it would take them, but I was only doing a level 2 spell, and it was an illusion, so it would be only an hour long.
Yeah, I'd say that you're probably able to get.
Okay. I'll just be sitting on the steps or wherever outside, waiting to see when they get there.
Richter, so you caught up with us?
I just remembered as we were leaving, I had bought some more ink. I figured I might as well fill in the book a bit more.
Oh.
And as I say that, I'm actually going to go to walk up to Astrid, and I'm going to say, I don't know if you would like this. It was Isabel's, and I'll just hand her the spell book.
Oh, thank you so much, Victor. I will see if I can send it back to the Morgenstones at some point. Perhaps they would want it back.
I just figured it'd be better off in your hands than mine. There's nothing more I could learn from it.
Thank you so much. Unfortunately, I cannot use spells from books, but I do appreciate this greatly.
Gives a nod and just follows behind.
So, is there anyone in the temple?
Yeah, I mean, who do you want to talk to?
Is there a just a priest or a high priest? Anyone that's generally around the altar?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of.
I'll pick a
Oh,
random person.
all right,
Excuse me. Do you work here? Do you pray to Bahamut?
I do.
I have some news regarding the ruins south of Kymel and Dragonkind.
Just sort of just like, oh, okay.
Considering your god is generally against certain dragons, I thought it would be prudent to inform priests of Bahamut of this.
And she just sort of like, again, not entirely sure what you're getting at. But and what dragons?
Well, there is a young white dragon in the ruins, and we seem to be going out to deal with a adult green dragon in the thicket.
And this is an older lady, and she goes, "Well, Bahamut guides you on your journey."
Not really the response I was looking for, but thank you very much. And good day.
She just sort of turns around and goes back to what she was doing.
Well, that went well.
Because in just Lalith might not know this, but the within Iman, the temples are not like the temples in Vasselheim, where in the temples of Vasselheim they are more militaristic, where they have like your paladins and your clerics, and they are more active in going out and doing things. Where in Iman, they're more sort of like what you would consider today just like churches, because they Iman has its own military, and so the temples themselves aren't used to defend the city or do anything like that. So the people that the paladins and things of the gods don't generally spend a whole lot of time in Iman, because Iman doesn't really treat them the same way that they would in other places. So
Well, that was worth a go.
Astrid kind of smirks and is like, "Don't worry, Lalith. I understand what you are trying to go for. Unfortunately, these temples are not the same as the ones in Vasselheim."
Well, not everything can be good news, but I've had fantastic news today, so if we'd like to meet up with Zalia or back at the inn, whichever suits both of you, I'm happy.
If we're able to find where Zalia is, at least you wouldn't have to go speak to the clasp alone.
Yeah, perhaps she is still at the inn or hopefully nearby.
Worth a shot. We could go check.
I would like to stay out of character. You can both see Lalith with a big shit-eating grin on his face. He's really happy.
I'm assuming that Astrid didn't actually see what happened in the embassy.
No, I don't think he's mentioned it yet, but he's definitely a lot happier after going inside.
Okay, Astrid will be like, Lalith, is this particular news in the temple did not seem that fortuitous, but did something happen at the embassy?
Yes, extremely good news.
That is wonderful.
I don't mind discussing it, but we could probably do it somewhere, not in the middle of the street.
Of course, we can go to the inn, see if Sally is there, or discuss it after uh, finishing our job with the class.
Sounds good.
Astrid is still watching Lalith, all curious.
all right, so you make your way back to Dragon's Bane.
Yep.
All right. So as you make your way back, it's probably approaching dusk at this point. And as you walk in, there's a fair number of people. A few people you recognize just as sort of regulars that are there drinking. And you can see that Valora appears to be packing things up, and you can see her raven is sitting on the bar next to her, and it, like, appears to be eating like crackers or something. And every now and then, when somebody says something, the raven mimics it and repeats what somebody says.
Um, is Zalia in here? Like, do we see her?
Yeah, I'm in there. I'm near the back. I'm just watching everyone.
Okay. Um, as like we're all going, I'm gonna look at everyone and say, I'll meet you back there in a second, and I'm gonna walk towards Valora,
Okay.
and I'm just gonna say, are you planning on leaving soon?
I am indeed, yes.
Well, I don't know what everyone else thinks. Ilbrin is currently off looking for a friend of his, but if you still want our help, we can discuss it. Uh, if you feel like talking at all, and I'll just nod towards where Zalia is, I'll just say, just come back and join us whenever you are done packing.
I will do that.
And then I'll go back and I'll just tell everyone that she wants to leave soon, but uh, I don't know if any of you have decided if you wanted to help her with this dragon.
I don't mind helping because from where it is supposedly, it's very close to Singon, or at least on the way to Singon, which is a possible destination for me.
If I recall from the map, it's also kind of close to Riverbend.
Um, kind
Riverbend.
of.
I think so.
Or am I thinking of Zephyra and Riverbend are close together?
Well, yeah, Zephyr's closer to Rivers Bend, but so if you guys look on the map and if you and then to the east, there's the Formir Basin, and it's this little bend in the river right there that's where Rivers Bend is.
And just out of curiosity, I know he didn't say anything about it yet, but didn't they say Singorn was currently in the Feywild?
Yes.
So it wouldn't be closer by going this way anyway.
Yeah, you would have to figure out how to get to the Feywild first.
Okay.
And even then, Singorn, where it is on the map here, isn't where Singorn would necessarily be in the Feywild, because that's not the way the Feywild works.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way to ask the embassy for Singorn to get us to the Feywild?
It would be possible. Also, I do know. Well, actually, I don't think we know about that in game yet. But I was gonna say we do know that Zephyr has a lot of druids, and the druids can maybe send us to the Feywild as well. And no.
Yeah, because I mean, even in Amon, they're really, I mean, there's teleportation circles, but they don't necessarily have plane shifting abilities.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people there that could probably do it, but it's not like a service that's provided.
Well,
But
when we get back to Zalia, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, the one from Vox Machina, isn't she still alive somewhere?
I would assume so. They live a long, long time, elves.
And wouldn't Aviana know where she is?
Well, she said she'll be back here to join us in a bit after she's unpacking. You could ask her then. But that does make
I
sense.
mean, at least we know one person that can plane shift. Well, I'm not sure, but there's that. I mean, possibly Iman may have something. I've never tried to plane shift except that one time with the house.
To be honest, it is not too much of an issue. The fact that I know that my father and brother are still alive is more than enough.
But if your father and brothers, your adopted father, is still alive and he's in Singon,
Oh, a year ago I heard whispers that they had both died. That's why I've been travelling around, trying to find their location. Turns out, as we were on our way to Kymel, they've passed
Oh,
through Imon
as if they were.
and headed south to Singorn.
Oh, that's unlucky.
Wow. Then that's great to hear.
It is, and I
Is there
can
any way we
wait.
could we possibly try and get word to? How would you even get word to Singborn if it's not here, but it is?
It would
Your
be
father is there,
very.
maybe.
I think it would be extremely difficult when it's shifted into the Feywild. Um, do I know of any magic that would allow you to like contact someone through different planes?
I don't think you would.
Okay.
To
Yeah,
be
because even the
honest,
earrings don't work. The message wouldn't work.
if we are going to be travelling with Aviana to deal with a dragon, she is from Singorn. I can ask her myself of certain ways to contact them.
That is true. And her father probably is still alive. And, I mean, probably a best bet with her than the clasp, but I would think that someone in the clasp and Imon would know how to plane shift, or would know someone who would know. But Aviana's got to have some idea.
I'm just happy with the fact that they are both alive. I've spent the last year hoping that they were.
We have very different relationships with our family.
Well, Zalia, do we? Did you go and speak with the class yet, or were you waiting for us to come with you?
That's right, wasn't I supposed to go talk to them by myself?
I don't think you were supposed to talk to them by yourself. I think you had mentioned that you were going to talk to them by yourself, but
I could have gone. I hadn't thought through it yet. I was just reading through my notes.
We
Trying to
can
figure out what I was supposed to tell them. Oh yeah, dragons and rumors.
we can go with you if you require.
Sorry, uh, background stuff. Um, I believe Rick's goal
Because usually, with Richter's experience, the class likes money.
Okay. I can say that I did that, but I don't know how the DM wants to handle that. Or should we just go now?
yeah, the class doesn't have a whole lot of information on the dragons. They have similar knowledge that everybody else is that they have heard things from um, about Rivers Bend. They have a little bit more information in that they have agents in Stillben who, according to them, Rivers Bend is basically gone, just completely destroyed, but there's no confirmation of that. And that they also had um, seen a blue dragon flying towards Zephyra, at least in that general direction. Not they can't say like they were going to that city, but there was a going towards the mountains anyway.
Okay. Then I suppose we should decide if we want to go with Aviana and help her with her problem in the thicket.
Here is your 6 gold back, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Um, well, I I wouldn't mind going to help. It's always would be quite interesting to see a dragon, and I'd honestly much rather have her be by our side if we can when it's our first time seeing one.
Agreed.
And Astrid, do a history check real quick if you would.
Yep.
Can I offer assistance? I have proficiency.
Not yet,
No, okay.
because basically what this is more about just remembering, because I know that we originally like Saul Thayer had the book, but we just sort of retconned that you had the book about Vox Machina.
Yeah.
So with that, we'll just say even with the 14, that you do vaguely remember reading something about them and how they got into the Feywild, which was in the Frostweald, which is well, near, I mean, somewhat near Timel and near Singorn, south of the Formir Basin. That's how the Vox Machina got to the Feywild. Was there was a spot that they were able to um, plane shift from there with the help of a uh, nymph, basically that Grog had some relations with.
He said he never did.
Well, he let everybody else think that they did, but then it came out later that he actually didn't, according to Travis.
Yeah.
Okay. Astrid's just gonna gasp and be like, "Actually, there may be a way through the fast wheel if we want to go to Singorn from there."
How would we get there from the Frostweald?
She's gonna try and hunt through the book of Vox Machina and find a page somewhere around here. They plane shifted using a nymph. She's flipping. Finally, she finds it. Here. It says right here, and she holds towards Salia.
And then
Does the book
basically they if you guys remember this, they also I don't found this one to be pretty funny.
Oh, it was like like a natural rift between the two planes, right?
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
kind of was just like there.
yeah.
Yeah, in wooded areas sometimes the two planes get thin.
With that information, it seems more likely it would be a good idea to go with Aviana to the thicket. We'd be much closer to the Frostweald, Rivers Bend, and Zephyra.
I wouldn't
That
feel
does
confident
okay.
taking you somewhere dangerous just so I can visit my family.
I
And the
wouldn't mind.
Hey,
Frostwood is pretty dangerous, and the Feywild is pretty dangerous.
Astrid does not know those things, so she's just like, I wouldn't mind visiting those locations. I mean, they're in this book here.
I I don't mind danger. I mean, I can always run away pretty quickly. And I'm faster than all of you. And I can climb. I'll probably be okay as long as it's not any spike traps.
Richter kind of looks at everyone. And he goes, "Well, you all have helped me, and if Lilith, if you do want to go, I'd follow you. Not, I would say gladly, but I'd be lying."
And you have not only helped me a great deal, in all honesty, but you've shown me a kindness that I wasn't for sure that other people even had. And I mean, your promise is still outstanding, right? So if I'm ever to take you up on that, maybe this would be partial payment?
It is nice for everyone to use such kind words for me, but again, just knowing the fact that they are alive is more than enough.
Well, Can I look around and see, is Aviana like done packing or anything, or like can I get her attention to call her over?
Yeah, you can call over. And also, if you guys look at the bottom right hand corner of the map, Chiriot Gadsworth, chief cartographer. That's the guy who lost
Yeah.
his arm. The guy who wrote.
Yeah,
is
Tiri.
gonna-
Yeah, Tyriok.
Hmm.
He's hilarious. And I remember when Liam cosplayed him for a Halloween episode.
yeah.
And he's like, I'm the only one at the table that's alive. Hey guys, it's great. I came out of it unscathed, mostly. And he's just got all these maps and he's accidentally hitting Laura in the face with them.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, when I call her over as she's walking over, I'll just look to Lathan and say, well, as you said, anyone would know how to get a message or anything like that to Singorn, it'd be her.
So as she's walking over, her raven comes over and sits down next to Astrid, and it actually just starts mimicking an owl hooting.
Aster laughs at this. It's like, Maggie, do you see this? If only you would turn yourself into a raven as well, then this would be a wonderful experience. And Maggie is not amused by this at all.
Can
He
I?
just,
Sorry, go ahead.
oh, he tries to nip at the raven, but of course, in his familiar form, he can't actually attack, so nothing much happens.
They just kind of smack beaks with each other a little bit.
Can I just kind of walk up quietly behind the raven and try and pet it with like one finger?
Yeah.
And
Her raven's name is Tano.
can I lean forward and whisper to it, are you Vaxeldon?
And as you say that, it mimics your voice, and just says Vaxeldon back to you,
I like you.
and it just goes,
And I just
I
kind of-
like you.
Oh, me too. And I just kind of pet its head a little bit and back off.
And it's a
Zalia.
particularly, I mean, ravens themselves are actually fairly large birds, but this appears to be a even somewhat larger than normal raven. I mean, he's roughly the same size as Maggie, who is an owl, which is generally a bit larger than a raven. But
Yeah, Zalia likes ravens anyway, but after she heard the story of everything with Vaxeldon and like the whole story about all that, she's particularly
well, and
interested in it just from her own past and history and everything.
you would also know, as an elf, when we'll just assume that at some point someone has asked what the raven's name is, and it's Hano, and you would know that in Elvish, Hano means brother.
I'm trying not to cry.
And just to get it out there, this is not Vaxeldon. It has nothing. It's not connected to him. It's just a raven that she named brother.
Yeah, I know. It's the same thing as the stuff with Kiki, but makes me sad on the insides and on the outsides.
So the raven's over there first, and it's messing around with Maggie, and then Valora walks over.
Well, I don't know if I can speak for everyone, especially since Ilbrin isn't here, but I think we would be willing to accompany you to the thicket.
Yes, we would be very much so.
And we should leave as soon as possible. And as you're saying this, looking still a bit disheveled and upset as he has been the past few days. And I don't know if, because I gave him this information on Discord earlier, and I don't know exactly how he wants to play it out, but I'm gonna make the decision for him, and that he's gonna tell you about about what he found, because I think he would. So he was actually looking for his friend who he was living with here, born, named Nala, and he received when you guys were originally here, and he went to look for her, and he didn't find her, and so this time he did a little bit more in-depth searching, and he found a letter from her, that basically pretty quick, but just said that she had been contacted by one of her old friends who asked her to join him for a meeting. She had no reason to expect anything, and she agreed. And she was then horrified to learn what these individuals themselves had been planning, and she realized the information that she had heard at this meeting was not something that she was going to be able to walk away from, and so she has run and is in hiding and could not tell him where. But she also included a note that she was given at this meeting, um, and she left that for him, and that is what I'm going to show all of you. If Roll20 will let me. Go. So if you don't want to actually like try and read that, I put the actual words at the bottom as well. There's also a typo that I corrected at the bottom that's on the paper, but then I couldn't go back and fix it because I had to like save the when I made the little document. I had to save it, and then I realized there's a typo. I was like, oh, screw it, I can't go back and fix it now without remaking the whole stupid thing. But it's correct on the bottom if you want to read it.
That's not good.
It sounds more like a nice oath, but twisted.
She also, in her letter to him, advised him to be wary of any dragonborn that he came across, um, partially because of his own nature, but also the fact that this group, calling themselves the Vanguard, appeared to be a dragonborn, mostly dragonborn, though not all dragonborns. The leadership of this cult seems to be dragonborn, however.
No, this is most definitely not good. Hilbrand, do you think we should, Valor would have seen this, right?
Yeah.
Okay then.
Well, it sounds like they're the same. It sounds like they'd have the same sort of interest as the group that came to take the eggs.
Definitely does.
More than likely, it's the same group.
Did anyone get to look at what those individuals looked like? I wasn't there in the square.
No, they were cloaked. The only thing I saw was a scaled arm.
Same.
Yeah, and I believe we didn't see colors or anything like that on the scales, right?
Nope.
So possibly either someone with scaled arm or armor or dragonborn, which all signs seem to be pointing to dragonborn.
Seems like it.
Anyone know any dragonborn?
I mean,
I mean,
yes, some live in Lyrangorn, but that's not really applicable for this situation.
yeah, I have a few back home, but that's a long way, and they're workers. They wouldn't know.
And you actually would be um, somebody who's proficient. Do a history check.
I got it.
Hey, okay.
Oh, no.
Not me!
I mean, he already rolled it, so it's up to you if I'm rolling.
Yeah. You guys can keep going. This isn't one of the. It's just okay.
Oh, thank
So-
God.
So, since the Chroma Conclave destroyed Draconia, um, the Dragonborns themselves, I mean, obviously a lot of them died, and they were split between the Revenites and the Dragonborn that were sort of the ruling elite. Differences being that the what you would know is that the Revenites had their tails cut off, and the others did not. But since then, the Dragonborn themselves, there don't appear to be as many of them on Tal'Dori as there once was. Um, you have heard rumors, though they've been purposely trying to keep these things secret. But there is believed that there is a number of Dragonborn on Isilra to the south, so basically on the opposite side of the continent from um, Vasselheim, where they were building essentially new Draconia. This time, not a flying city, but just a city for Dragonborn. And it was mainly built by the people that were of the ruling class before, because their idea was that, well, our city was destroyed, but we're not all of a sudden just going to become peasants now. So their idea was that they were going to rebuild somewhere else. And so there hasn't been any sort of like formal um, declaration that the city exists or that trying to build trade routes or anything. It's more just rumors at this point. But there have been quite a number of, or it's been noticed over the past 20 years that there are not anywhere near as many Dragonborn, at least on Tal'Dore, as there used to be. They've also themselves been persecuted quite a bit for somewhat unfairly for things that members of their race have done.
So Richter's gonna pull out a little piece of paper real quick and kind of just look around to everyone and say, "So, what do we still have that everyone wants to accomplish?" And he's gonna start making a little bit of a list. He's gonna say, "We have to figure out about this tree still. Um, Lalith, you want to find your parents or your father eventually.
Eventually, but there is time to get to Singorn.
Um, the Trake told me that Zephyr would probably have someone more knowledgeable than him with the tree. Uh, as far as the connection to the Briarwoods go, Whitestone would be a good place to start looking there. Is there anything else that anyone could think of?
I
As
also forgot to mention that Zalia, when you went to talk to the class, they did send a few people to Kaimel for the request for to shore up their group over there.
Awesome. Yay! Kill all the myriad.
Of course, they did also ask that you go as well.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Every time. Was it like you should escort them
It
there?
wasn't that you should escort them there. It was a more they'll go on ahead and you can meet them there type of thing.
No timelines?
Nothing specific, no. But you did
At some
recognize at
point?
least two of the people. Well, at least one of the people that was sent, which was um, the little halfling who broke you out of prison. Lillian was one of
Ooh,
the people that was sent.
she's good at getting into things. Okay, well, mm, yep, we may want to go back possibly to Kymel at some point. Um, they did send some people from the class there, and I think I am expected to show up as well to help with this over expanse that the Myriad is trying to deal in the city. I would really like to. Well, I would like to rid the entire city of Myriad, but there's not much I can do alone. Not much any of us could even do together for that. But if at some point we can go back there, make sure that things are going well, see if they need assistance, that is something I would like to do. Possibly on the way to Whitestone.
If we're going with Aviana to the thicket, it's rather close to Kaimel. We could stop there afterwards.
That is true.
And then Zephyr and or Whitestone in whatever order.
We do have to follow up in Riverbend as well, unless we want to just see if there's more rumors by the time we get back to Kaimel.
Yes, that is true. Although Riversbend, I believe, was near Zephyr, so that could be on the way or on the way there, on the way back, either way.
It seems
Well,
as if we're all in agreement to go with Aviana. Is that fair to say?
Yes, I do
yes.
believe so.
What if we possibly went with Aviana, see if she can get us or help with us afterwards to Kaimel, then go to Western on the way down to um, Riverbend, and
Isn't Western kind of the opposite direction?
isn't Riverbend the one that's down south
Riversbend
near
is down.
Stillbird?
Riverbend is over here,
Yeah.
and Western is up that way.
So I guess to save time, we could just go to Riverbend
To
after
Zafra,
Kaimel, and then to Zephyra,
then here, then
then
up.
Western, then Whitestone.
I believe she would be more willing to follow us if we went from the thicket to Kymel and up through Western to Whitestone.
Well,
Yes.
she's. I'll look to her and I'll say, "Well, if we come and help you in the thicket, what would you be doing next? Would you be going to check Riverbend yourself?"
Seems the most likely place to look after the thicket. Yes.
Well, maybe the clasp can wait a bit. What if we do thicket? Uh, Either check in or not in Kymel, go to Riverbend, then up to Western or to the Zephyra, then Western, then Whitestone.
Well,
We'll do it that direction.
if the rumors are true and Riverbend is already destroyed, I'm sure that Aviana would just be tracking the dragon and gathering information. I don't. She may be able to handle that on her own. I kind of just look to her.
Yes, but I'm not sure if we want to lose you. We, I don't want to leave you alone to do this. Also, Zephyra is so close to Riverbend. Wouldn't they have heard something already?
And I wouldn't mind talking to the druids there about the tree. And Ilbrin would have probably chimed in and wanting to go to Riverbend to meet his friend or whoever that was in the last game.
Yeah. To
Yep.
see the innkeeper.
What if we just skipped Riverbend, did the thicket, went to Kymel, then went to Zephyra and see if they have any information on Riverbend? It's a short jump to go over there, relatively. After we talk to Zephyra, they maybe could send someone out to help with the tree while we scout out Riverbend. Then we could head north.
The problem is we're not sure we want anyone to deal with the tree until we're sure that Astrid's friend would be okay.
But we would be able to gain information about the tree at least.
Yes, yes. I do agree. We should go to, obviously, we go to the thicket, we stop by Kymel, and then from there we have to decide if we're going to stay with Aviana or if we're going to part ways until she needs our help again.
Yes, I suppose one day at a time. Perhaps the situation will change as we go as well. First things first, the dragon. Second thing, Kaimal, and then whatever may happen, may happen.
That is true. Planning all of it out's probably not going to work out anyway. So, first things first, and then we figure out the rest on the way, but at least we have some sort of plan.
And does Ilbrin seem like he would be willing to help with this dragon?
Yeah.
Okay.
If only my family knew I was going to go help defeat a dragon.
You
can
could write them a
send
letter before we go.
That is true.
But and
Uh,
Richter actually, perhaps it'd make more sense to send it after and let them know that you were successful, so they wouldn't be worrying.
That is true.
That is true as well.
I've already protected you from a barbarian. I'm not sure I can protect you from a dragon, but I will try.
Yes, that is very much appreciated, Zalia. I did mention you in my letter.
Oh,
How much you helped. So nice.
oh, that's odd, but well, I guess as a kindness, if you are very scarred or extremely hurt by the dragon, I can stab you quickly. That's something. And she just kind of walks away.
Astrid stares a little bit. When did murder go into the conversation?
Well, into her head, she was going to say basically, like, don't worry, I wouldn't let you suffer if you went down to her. That's like a nice thing. But then you kind of told her that you wrote a letter to your family and included her, and now she's just so flustered. It's like really weird.
She pulled a Vaxodon, and I walk away.
Yep.
Well, Richter's going to look to everyone and say, well, if we're going to be traveling around, we may want upgrading our carriage a bit. Maybe one that's a little bit bigger with a cover on it in case
We already did
the
that.
weather gets bad. Well, can we all fit on it now?
No, I have to either sleep underneath it or sleep away from it because I still have to run
That's what I
next
mean.
to it.
Yeah, Richter wants to buy one that's a little bit like bigger, that would have like a little bit more secure.
You do know you're talking about adding pretty much an 8-foot, 300-pound Goliath to it.
Yeah.
That's not worth it.
I mean, honestly, like for Lalith, even growing up where he grew up, I mean, he's probably just as comfortable laying on the ground as he would be in a wooden cart.
Yeah.
Well, Richter's more thinking of the actual traveling, like how miserable it must be to walk or jog alongside a carriage for hundreds and hundreds of miles.
He's a knight. It's part of his training. He's like a SEAL, like a Navy SEAL. He learned how to do that a long time ago, I'm pretty sure.
Richter, you do understand I was born and raised in mountainous conditions. Flatlands are quite easy.
I understand they're much easier, but still, that distance seems quite rough.
It's good for your health. You should try it sometime.
I mean, as a Goliath, even though you didn't grow up with them, I mean, the Goliath herds, that's all they do is they walk and run, and like they don't have horses or anything. So I mean,
all I'm picturing now is him with the fucking Forrest Gump hat on, running across the fucking country.
I mean, yeah. So but you are
No
you
beard.
are like genetically at least, predisposed to being able to go for hundreds of miles with no problem.
And let's be honest, if you look where Lirangorn is on the map, it's in a mountain in the Netherfields. It's basically cold, mountainous, and nothing around us. So, we're used to it.
Fair enough. And you said it's night now, so I'll look to her. I'll say, so I assume you're leaving in the morning?
And she was like, now.
Oh.
Well, I am prepared. The only thing is, would any bookstores be open right now?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I mean, it's probably 7-8 o'clock in the evening at this point, but Iman has enough stuff going on that you'd still be open.
As we head out, I would not mind purchasing my next Infernal textbook. I've already gone through this one, Zalia. And she holds it out, and it's like filled with notes, and the pages are kind of crinkled. And
Wow, that's you put way more effort into that than I did. You're definitely a student.
she
How
says
do you
in Infernal,
concentrate?
it's just so interesting. And then she says, "Hello, my name is Astrid. I am learning Infernal, well, in Infernal."
Well,
So
that
it's just like
was
a bunch of like deep guttural sort of weird sounds, but then Astrid, because there is no there's no Astrid in Infernal, so
which is a way different tonality than infernal.
yeah.
um, that was both scary and adorable. Um, good job.
Thank you so much.
I would like to stop by the general store as well, if we have time while we're heading out.
I have nothing really to pick up. I just think it's hilarious how flustered Zalia gets.
About everything or something in particular?
At this stage, everything.
Yeah, this is all getting very weird.
Oh, also, Victor, I kind of used up all the papers that you gave me.
Oh, well, then another reason to stop by the general store. Um, yeah. So I don't know what would be on the way first, the book or general store.
Whichever one you want.
All right. Well, I just want to buy like 10 gold worth of stuff to start like messing with my tinkering kit with,
Okay.
and then I'll buy like I'll see if they have like a book with empty pages just for a bunch of paper.
Yeah, I mean, basically would be like a journal.
Yeah, I'll buy one of those.
Probably
I'll
about 2 silver.
Okay.
And Astrid's gonna buy paper as well.
I mean,
Shouldn't you also get a journal? It may help you keep all the paper together.
It is fine. This paper is for letters rather than journaling, although I do admit my letters sometimes do turn into journals.
And as she's doing that, like when Richter has his paper, he's just gonna rip one out and then cast mending on the edge of the paper so it looks like a regular piece of paper.
okay.
And he's gonna say, "That's kind of why I got this. I was gonna let you have it whenever you needed."
Oh, that looks wonderful! Oh, I wish I knew how to do mending as well. But I suppose if you know it, I would appreciate that greatly. And she's getting all excited.
Well, then I'm done. I'm ready to go. Do we need to? Do you want us to like put more money towards rations and stuff since we're gonna be traveling again?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say probably just a couple of gold is enough to cover everything.
Since Zalia gave me my 6 gold back, I'll just put 6 gold towards it and get it for everyone.
Thank you. And also, while they were talking and they were being funny about the pages and everything, Zalia like is in the corner, kind of. She started smiling and then realized she was smiling and then kind of was like, "What the?"
Lelis is just
And
staring
literally,
at you.
and then literally like forced her face back down with her hand, and then like just pretended like it didn't happen.
I saw that.
Are you casting a message or are you
Nope,
standing
I'm just
next to me?
mouthing that at you.
She just gives you the bird and not a crow.
Caca.
Oh my god, if your character actually did that, that'd be hilarious. This giant dude just making random crow noises.
Sorry, let me do that. Let me do that in tone. Caca.
That's horrific. Don't do that.
You sound like a furbog that transferred into a raven.
Yes.
So is there anything else we need before we leave a city? Like, I think you guys bought potions and stuff last time, right?
Yes, I have 3 potions with me.
Yes, I have 4.
Victor, would you like one? Hold
Uh,
on your person.
No, I have the money to buy one. I don't like spending money unless it's for my book.
I will take one just to have on me, just in case. Not just for myself, but it's so much harder to, if one of you fall, for me to go through your bags and find it, then give you one if you're hurt.
I'll give you
And
one of mine. So it's
actually, oh, as she's saying that, Richter looks at her and says, "Actually, can I borrow one of those just for a little while?"
Yes, of course.
And
Astrid will give hers to Richter if Lala's giving his to Zalia.
I don't know how you want me to roll this. I mean, I don't know what skill you want me to use, but I want to try to make some sort of a like a holding device for Rascal to have the potion on him that he would be able to like pop the top off and maybe have him give it to someone.
Oh, little tiny guy just like trying to pour potion.
Yeah, I would try to get something like a little piece of metal that he could like uncork it with and then just have something on him to pour it with.
I've just got the dumbest image there of someone unconscious on the floor, a rascal
I have the same one.
trying to pull their mouth open, then flip the potion into their mouth.
It like goes into their eye. Half of it spills on the floor. They've got healing potion down their shirt.
But if one drop gets in, they're alive.
That's true. And also cuteness. He'd be like a what? Oh crap! What's the dog? The big giant
The Saint
dog.
Bernards.
Yes,
With the
like a
barrels
Saint
of
Bernard.
whiskey.
I'd say just to do a straight dexterity check to see if you could be able to craft something like that.
Hmm.
Did you roll my
14.
team? Oh, so freaking slow. So you're able to craft something. You're not sure if it'll work. But maybe.
Like just kind of like I just kind of want to make it something that he would just have a little bit more control over pouring with, I guess. Like instead of just like little otter hands, like maybe have it be something where like I make a container type thing like with straps or something for the potion itself that he could handle easier.
Yeah, and so you put something together that you think might prove useful, but you're just not 100% sure if it'll work. You'll just have to see.
And I will just put the potion in it and give it back to her, Astrid, and say, well, Rascal may be able to help people if we'll see.
This seems quite interesting. That is a-okay by me. Oh, and how much for the book?
I think that would be about 5 gold.
Okay.
Because what you have to spend like 250 gold or something like that.
Yeah, 250, and so far I have spent 18. 18 was what the first book cost.
Okay. So this is a little bit. This is more of a basic one. This is like where is the library in Infernal type of stuff. All right. So as you're preparing to leave, Valora actually mentions that it might be beneficial for you guys to go to Kymel first, just to see if there's any more information that you can get from people there regarding the thicket, rather than going straight there.
Yes, that
works.
makes sense to me. Valor, we also have the map, of course. Did you want to take hold of it?
Sure.
And she hands the map of the Ivyheart thicket to her.
Did we tell her about the other dragon, the baby one in the ruins?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Is there anything else you want to do before you leave?
Yeah, Valora, do you know a way to send a message to Singon?
She kind of looks at you like, write a letter?
While it is in the Feywild.
Aside from going to the Feywild yourself, I don't know of a way, no.
Very well, thank you. Anyway,
Would you know how to get into the Feywild?
There are a number of ways to get there, yeah. I know there is a portal that appears from time to time in the Frostweald, or you could find someone who could plane shift you there.
I suppose I'm asking, do you have connections that could get us there?
I do know people who are capable of such things, yes.
Right. We can try a few other ways. I don't want to put you in a odd position. If we can at all help it, but if we cannot find the portal or cannot find another way in, we may need some assistance.
And Richter, as you know who Valora is, you know that she knows Keyleth, so
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if I think at this point would I know who? Yeah, I know who she really is because I talked to her.
Yeah, I told you about the last name, and then when you realized the last name, you kind of freaked out.
Yeah, I sort of have an idol in Vax a little bit. From what I understand, though, but it's like book version of Vax. Like I don't really understand a lot.
well, I mean, to be fair, Valora didn't know Vax very well either. She only, I mean, if you look at the campaign, she basically only saw him like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, really, and it was for very short amounts of time.
But she would know Vex a lot because in the wrap up, so she after everything happened, she spent a lot of time in Whitestone with Percy and Vex. So
Yep, and definitely Percy would know how to get in touch with. Even if Vex had lost contact somehow, which I don't know if she would, but Percy would know how to get in touch with Kiki.
yeah, I mean, as far as our game is concerned, though they may or may not be something that some people that we would meet, Vex and Percy would be around, and Keyleth would be around. Everybody else may be around, but Pike and Grog and Scanlan traveled around a lot. They spent time in Western because that's where they lived, quote unquote, lived, and they had a house, but they also traveled a lot. So,
Yeah. And Tyrion,
is in
yeah, all the way.
we would see him. We could possibly see him in the next campaign if we go to Wildmount because he would be there.
Yeah.
Depending on how far, what time frame we use for that. It's kind of one of those things where you have to see what they do because it's like, well, you don't want to go too far. You don't want to go like ahead of the second campaign because it's like, yeah, I'm gonna come up with all this kind of stuff, and then Matt Mercer will come through and be like, yeah, you know that place that you centered your whole campaign around, it gets destroyed in episode 35. It's like, well,
Yep.
so my guess would be that it will. We may like if we get to the point where he releases the campaign guide for Wildmount, it may be a concurrent event with this campaign where it's like, oh, it's on Wildmount 2 years before the start of campaign 2, just like this one did. It's just we're on another continent. All depends because it might be fun too because this group may end up in Wildmount at some point, and then who knows, we could have them meet up with the characters that'll eventually be played. Who knows? But so
Lots of possibilities.
I just hope that he comes out with that sooner rather than later. Although honestly, I would have preferred him to release an update for the Tal'Dorei one because it was like this was all done before he finished that campaign. So it's like, there's a lot of stuff that you could add to it now that would make it that much better. But because this came out, I think, like when they were in the episode 70s or 80s, because it was before Vecna and that whole arc. I mean, I think it came out roughly right after they finished with the Chrome Conclave, but you can't remember exactly where that was. I think it was in the 70s or 80s, maybe. Anyway, what do you guys, are you doing anything else? Or are you just heading out?
Astra's just gonna grab 20 gold worth of summoning stuff so that she has that for later just in case.
Okay.
And that's it.
Right. So if there is nothing else, then we will have you guys head out. And again, as this is the well-traveled road to Kaimel, nothing much will happen on your journey there. Mark on my calendar the time sheet here.
Spent more time
And
traveling between these two places than actual doing stuff.
Yeah.
And Astrid would have been learning Infernal with Zalia and pulling her in and etc.
All right. So we will say you make it safely, Kaimel. And before we get started there, let's take a quick break. I'm going to go grab some water.
Sounds good.
Yep.
So what now we've got to possibly worry about doing clasp stuff in Kaimel, a dragon, a tree, a dragon, and more dragon stuff.
I'm back. Is everybody back?
Yep.
Yup.
I'm here.
All right. So, as you enter Kaimel, where are you planning on going first?
I think at this stage the usual.
You're going to just go to the casino?
Uh,
That's the usual.
yeah, I can't think of anywhere else we would probably get better and more reliable information.
Okay. So, as you're walking towards the Wishing Well Casino, um, you walk past the miners' exchange where you had met Asher, the guy who bought all your stuff, and also bought the that dwarven scroll. And as you walk by, he sort of yells out to you, and sort of runs around his little his stall and runs over to you and says, "Oh, I'm so glad you're here." And he says, "Oh, I got word from my contacts in Craghammer that when I gave them the try to sell them the scroll, they told me that there was something more to it, and they were wondering if you had any more information about it."
Not so much. We found it in the ruins of Tortil. I forget where exactly we found it.
Wasn't it with Kerrigan stuff?
No, it was actually before that.
Oh, it was in the journal type thing.
Yeah. So he makes mention of the fact that so he goes on to explain essentially that there's there's an old mining town to the east of Craghammer um, that is called Hallwinter, and it's been not entirely abandoned. There are still some people that live there, but it's sort of a shadow of what it used to be. It was a boom town essentially, um, as far as mining goes, but there was the dwarf that was mentioned on there, who I've lost his name now. Where did I put it?
Dwarfy McDwarf face?
No, yeah, right. Durgeddon. His name is Durgeddon the Black. And so in the town of Hallwinter was where he had what they believed was and I put this in air quotes, secret forge, essentially, where he crafted some of the greatest weaponry that Taldori has ever seen. So people have been looking for this lost forge for many, many years. And so this scroll that you found was the first time that they had any sort of clues. And if you remember, it was that, the scroll itself had made mention of the fact that they had hidden themselves and that no one would ever find them. But now, with the help of this information, they believe that they may have found where it could be in some of these mines behind Hallwinter.
Oh, that was amazing. I'm glad that was helpful to you.
And he just goes on. Is there anything else that you can find about that, or, just let me know. It could be worth a lot.
If we come across anything else in our travels, we will definitely bring it to you.
So just another thing that you can add to your list of things to investigate. If you make your way towards Craghammer, you could find a forge, possibly.
Right. And whenever we're going past the Myriad and stuff, I keep an eye out to see if I see the half orc.
You do not.
Okay.
So you make your way to the Wishing Well Casino, and at this point, you're 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 recognized by the bouncers essentially, which are obviously members of the class, but they sort of just nod at you.
Look, you're almost going to join us already. Everyone here knows you.
That would be quite interesting, actually.
Richter kind of looks at her like with a raised eyebrow, like,
I was about to say, Zalia does the same thing. Like, in her head, like, do you know what these people do? Oh, you sweet summer child.
oh, Zalia, follow your lead here. I information, I guess, and I suppose while we're here, we'll have to take care of your bargain with the clasp.
Well, I'm just here to check up on the people sent from Imon and see if they need anything in particular. So stay here. I'll go upstairs and find out how everything is going.
All right, so you go up and you're able to go in and see Eliana. And as you walk in, you actually do see a couple of halflings sitting in the room. They're both just doing like best you can tell, like just magic tricks. Essentially, they both have like cards out and they're just like goofing off. And Eliana just she looks like she's doing something, like like writing something, and she just looks annoyed by the two halflings that just don't appear to be. They're just goofing off basically. So there's just like every now and then there's just like a loud pop where they make like something explode, and she doesn't say anything to him, but as you walk in you just notice that
Babysitting, are we?
she just sighs.
Well, I did ask the clasp and Imon to send reinforcements. How's it going?
She introduces you, and actually because one of them is Lillian, and the other one she introduces other the other halfling, who is actually Lillian's brother. She introduces you as this is Genrix, and Genrix, as it so happens, is Lalith's second character for the second group. So I'll let him speak for Genrix.
Why, hi, sure. How are you doing today?
Fine. I've met your sister.
And she just
Haven't run.
Lillian goes, "Hi," and she like
Hi.
throws this like card towards your face, but as it gets close to you, it just dissipates into like this like fairy dust.
Yeah, and I tried to catch it and flinch away from it, but then it's gone, and I just give her the finger. Hey, so I know you. You've been very helpful. You, brother, right? I've seen you around before, but you're usually rather silent. What? Okay, so why did they send the two of you in particular?
Well, they sent me to places that others don't want to go. I like doing the dangerous jobs.
So you realize that the Myriad has got a very heavy presence here, yes?
Aye, I do, and it's quite fun.
It is, but it can also get you killed. Are you as sneaky as your sister? Or do you have particular talents?
And as you say, "Are you sneaky?" Lillian sort of gets up and giggles, and then she casts invisibility on herself and disappears.
I know you're sneaky. You visible asshole. Where Okay, you, what can you do? What do you plan to do here? And I'm watching my coin purse and my daggers. I will stab you. And I kind of just say that into the air because
That's
I know that
invisible.
she's invisible.
The mage hand is also invisible. I'm going to start patting you on the head. Well, I can do quite a lot of things.
Why was there a light crossbow that just happened, Matthew?
I don't know. I was clicking the character sheet for Lillian to see what spells she had, and all of a sudden there was just a crossbow. I don't know.
And you shot me in the shoulder,
Yeah,
basically. No, you missed.
that was a
And shot
mistake.
your
She
brother.
was she's actually not trying to shoot anything. I don't know why that why.
She shot and killed her brother. It's sad. Layla has to make another character.
Well,
Um. Oh well, that's nice. I've seen that. Okay, so mage hand. You're a magic user then.
that and other things.
Do you stab people? Do you use a bow? Do you have a patron?
I have lots of things. You'll have to find out.
I'm going to grab you by your feet and shake it all out of your pockets. Tell me why they sent you.
To which Eliana just replies, "They're idiots, but they're actually pretty good at what they do."
Oh yes, I've noticed in the past. I'm just wondering what their purpose here is because if these two were sent, there must be an agenda.
Well, how do I put this? They send me to places where the class goes silent, and I make sure they're no longer silent.
Ah, well then, that changes everything.
Aye, it does.
Well, then, very nice to meet you, Genrix. And I extend my hand and give it a shake, expecting some sort of trick, but do it anyway. Yep, knew it. I knew it. You little shit.
It's a
14,
pleasure.
a 14 doesn't hit though, right?
It doesn't hit, but I felt it. And I say that to him. I expected that, you little
it's like a
shit.
little joy buzzer.
I know that's what's really funny is that's exactly what I had in my head when I was saying that.
I'm going to take 2 steps backwards and just leave that to happen.
All right, so as the adults speak, Eliana um, just gives you the details. Is that they're not at the moment? They still have to prepare, so she's not expecting any to attack the myriad, you know, today. Um, but they are making plans to infiltrate what she believes is this stronghold that they are working out of underneath this mansion or this manor. But that's partially why these two were sent. Is that they
They're
are
super sneaky.
they're very sneaky in that they can get into places that others cannot. They're not necessarily, you know, although they do have some offensive capabilities. They are in a lot
Scouts.
of ways recon. So
Yeah. All right. Any news at all on a sighting of the big man who came after us with the egg? If there's been any backlash for the egg being fake or any news that you've heard of that? He did come after our party pretty hard.
nothing in particular. Although I have heard that they found out that it was fake, but I don't know their reactions to it exactly.
So, do you know anything more about this giant man? I don't know anything about him. Do you know his name? Do you know anything at all? The other two seem to be dispensable to him, and he was very interested in just the egg, and usually the myriad doesn't back off from a fight, and he backed off, and it was odd. I'm curious about him. He
The only we know that his name is Duma, and we know that he's an enforcer for them of sorts. That he
well, he
most of the
does.
time is stands around the casino looking angry. That's about it, really. We don't. I don't believe that he's involved in the the murders of our members, mainly because they were killed in discreet manners, and he does not appear to be suitable for that type of work.
No, not at all. That man couldn't stealth if he wanted to. All right. Well, does he seem. He doesn't seem, I guess, a sustained threat, but more a punishment? Or, like you said, an enforcer.
We don't
I mean,
normally see him leave the city. He's normally, again, seen standing around the casino.
well,
I've seen him throw people out and act as a bouncer in that regard. But we
well,
do
that
know that
is good
any
to know.
run-ins we've had with him he have not ended well for us.
That is good to know. And it almost ended very badly for us as well. I will take that into consideration. I know one of our party members were very upset with him, but we have dragons and bigger things to deal with right now.
I don't anticipate
Literally.
he will be involved in the goings on we have as far as the manor is concerned, but I wouldn't
Yes,
completely rule it out.
makes sense. All right. Is there anything you need from me in particular? The classman in Mon sent me here to follow up, and I know I would like to, and I probably under clasp rule should stay. However, there are some things happening with the dragons, not just in Kaimel, but in other areas, and we desperately need to find out more. We have some leads that we are trying to track down to bring more information to this city because it seems to be the central hub where everything is kind of surrounding. And if you can handle these two for a little while I try and find out more, I would be very grateful.
Yes, we have some planning that we need to do. Just within the week or so, we'll probably have to make our move.
All right, if there's something dire or immediate, try and send a letter, but I'm not sure where I'm going to be at the time. Would it be more helpful if I left you some sort of note in any city I went as to where I was going next, or sent you something? I'm Our party is not sure exactly the order in which we are going, and I don't want to leave you without assistance at this time, but I'm afraid I may have to.
Well, just do the best that you can, I suppose.
All right. Best of luck to you. And for the sake of all of us in the class, Genrix, I hope you're just as shitty to the others, even more so. You're a good agent for us, yes.
Well,
And
that's one word for it.
Lillian, wherever you may be, and I check my coin purse again. Is it there?
Yeah, it's there.
Thank you for everything you've done. Keep your brother safe. Help the clasp. kill the fucking myriad. Hopefully,
Don't
I will
worry.
still be alive, and I will see you soon.
So as you're walking out, you feel a hand like on the back of your thigh, and then you just start floating because she casts fly on you.
And I just grab the door jamb above the door
We
and
we
kind of
have
just hold
chaos.
myself.
Don't worry.
And I just hold myself there, and I'm like, this is both amusing and impressive. And could you please take this off of me? I actually have to walk out in public.
Yeah, she drops it, and
And
she still, but you just hear her giggling.
I am actually growing quite fond of the two of you. I myself also love a bit of chaos. Maybe if I make it back here in time, the three of us could do some real damage. Keep yourselves alive. And I really hope I see you again.
Well,
Thank you again, Lillian. And keep being a shit. And I will just walk out.
All right.
did you have fun in there?
By the way, Janrix is cool. In his looks, and I'm totally loving him. Okay, yes. Um,
Also,
yeah,
there's only one small issue with that picture of him, which is that his ears would actually be pointed. But other than that,
yeah.
Minor
Which is
details.
minor details. Yep.
makes him way cuter. His pointed ears are always the cutest ears, except for sometimes Furball, but whatever. Um, yeah, had a ton of fun. So one of the people they sent was the one that helped break us out of jail. And her brother, who I had seen but never really knew much about. They are both complete fools and jackasses and extremely talented at being both. And they're sneaky and it's wonderful. And it's chaotic. And I'm extremely happy, actually. I like them. I'm really hoping they can turn this city around. But other than that, not much other news. I think from here we're going to have to continue on. In the cities we visit, I will try and get message back to here to let them know just in case. If something goes wrong with the myriad, I may have to disengage from the group and come back. Or if you want to come back and help with me, I'm not sure.
Well, aren't we going to handle the thicket now? And if you say you have a week, we can just. Wouldn't it be easier to just stay here until the job is done and then we can continue on together?
Yes, but don't we have to go with Aviana?
Yeah, to the thicket. That's literally like not even a day's travel, right?
It's
It's probably about a day. Yeah.
yes, so we could finish what we have to do with Aviana and then if possible come back here and help
Yeah.
before we go
That
off.
sounds good.
But this is a very flexible plan. They are still in the midst of trying to understand what's going on. So we just have to be flexible as well in this. And you do not have to come back. If we have to part ways and I have to come back and help, I understand.
Well,
Um
I think Astrid said it the best when we were leaving him on. We know our next step. Let's take that first and then figure out the rest.
yes, and also I do have news of the enforcer. The large man who wanted the egg that attacked us. He works for the Myriad, yes, but generally does not leave a certain area. He does not seem to be a sustained threat. It seemed to be a one time thing. And he did not seem interested in hurting or killing us. He seemed interested in the thing we were holding. He sounds odd, not normal myriad, almost like an employee or something different. I don't think that he actually meant to do any damage to the party. Of course, he didn't know that I was a class member, but he he didn't seem to be given to wanton violence, even though it seemed like it. I was very curious after I stopped the fight. He just walked away. He does not seem to be going after us. And on their accounts, even the clasp says they do not really consider him a threat. They do not suspect him as a member that may have hurt other clasp members. They say he is just generally a bouncer.
People can still retain honor while working for shady people.
And I have never encountered that before, but I believe that's a good summary of exactly what even the clasp thinks about him.
What's honorable about attacking people to take what they had just bought?
That is not honorable, per se, but what. From everything I've heard from the clasp so far, he enforces rules. He kicks people out of the casino. He watches over everyone. If he does that, but then all of a sudden was sent on this mission, I'm not sure he's anything more than a blunt object. Do you understand? I think that they.
Yes, but if it wouldn't have been us he was stealing something from, we were not inside of this casino. If it wasn't us, it would have been someone else. And if it would have been someone else, they could have died.
We almost died.
Exactly.
But he gave us fair rules, right? Give it over or and we knew the egg was fake. And by the way, they also know the egg was fake at this point. It just seems odd because most of what I know of the Myriad, they do not leave witnesses. They do not leave survivors. He he walked away. It almost seems like he doesn't understand he's being used.
He's being used for bad, and Richter kind of just. Did you find out anything about the dragons?
No, nothing more about the dragons than we already know. Right now in this city, the biggest concern is the Myriad versus the class fight. It's not the most intelligent concern long term, but it is the one that is happening. So we will move on. Go do what we need to do with Aviana. I may check back here after. If I'm just saying, if we get into, if we come back here and there is a fight with the Myriad, just consider that the one that attacked us, the others seemed bloodthirsty. They seemed intent on killing us, hurting us. He did too, but he was benevolent in the end, and it doesn't make sense. There's something going on here.
Richter gets up and walks away.
It seems he doesn't understand that not everything is black and white.
Well, I mean, he almost got killed by him, and he also almost killed Astrid and spit on her. So
Well,
Very benevolent.
but he could have killed all of us entirely, but he listened to me. He was susceptible. to me speaking to him and letting us go. That is not something that you run across in a murderous person. I know. You know how many times people have begged me not to kill them and I did? Countless. I've done some terrible things, and yet I am in your party. You trust me. You look to me for assistance on you. Whereas a few months ago, I would have killed all of you without thinking. Sometimes you recognize something in someone, a hurt, a difference. He feels different. That's all I'm saying. And if you can give me a chance, and if you can trust me, maybe there's just something about him.
It's also possible that you just have a thing for attracting big, muscly men.
Apparently, all of you are just completely amazing and great and awesome. No, he was terrible. He spit on my friend. I mean, he looks like somebody carved a statue and put some beard hair on it. He's weird. I'm not attracted to him. I'm saying something recognized him. I've been through a lot of shit in my past, and I recognize pain, and I recognize benevolence. It's not something I usually do, but I'm oddly learning how to around you group of shits, making me feel emotions and things.
Astrid grins at that.
And I protected you from him. And when I looked at him and stopped him from killing you, he didn't look like he wanted to kill you. There was something there. That's all I'm saying. I know Ilvern is pissed. I know it wasn't right. I know we all got damaged, but technically we started it. We knew the egg was fake. We could have thrown it away, given it to them. He didn't seem too smart. It would have ended everything. And the guidance we got was no fighting. We got ourselves into that shit.
Well, on a technicality, Richter started that fight by walking away, but
Exactly. Richter started it, but
it doesn't really matter. We can come to what happens to this Duma another day.
I'm just saying, considerations. If we do run into him again, because I know that a hit was potentially taken out on him, and I know that she said we couldn't afford that. I'm just saying, maybe intuition's sake. And what I saw, because I was in his face. You weren't, Lilith. I was in his face, protecting Astrid. I saw it. He was different.
I was stood right next to him whilst the fighting was happening.
I know.
But we'll digress for now.
All
Yes,
right.
the only thing I have to say to that is I don't particularly like the guy, of course, but I do trust your intuition with that, Zalia. If he does come towards me, I will run the other way if you're not around, so of course.
No, if he comes towards you, do whatever you can to get away. That guy was huge. Or yeah, just run. I was about to say maybe talk to him, but no, run, just run.
Yes,
He's too big.
yes.
All right, let's head out from here. They said that they can hold the fort down until we get back. So, let's meet Iviana and get this done.
Yep, sounds good to me.
All right, so you guys make your way back out of Kymel. Valora takes the lead as you travel into the thicket. And as you're going through there, you guys give Valor sort of the breakdown as far as the things that you had seen. So, that you would run into to a bunch of goblins, that you had run into twig blights. You inform her that um, the journal that you had read was also giving more information about the fact that you believe that there are twig blights in the thicket because Kerrigan was sending goblins with seeds. And you also make note of the fact that from where you came up out of the Torthill Keep, as you were leaving, there were a bunch of goblins that you heard, and then they took off into the thicket. Um, Basically, that's where Valora, being a ranger, is going to attempt to pick up the trail. Essentially, um, see if she can follow these goblins.
Shall I say if she's going to
Right.
make a roll, could I assist?
Do you have?
I have survival.
Let me. All right, so I'll do it again. Wow. So I was giving her advantage by doing it, going twice. So, uh, yeah. So, she's having a hard time. It's been a while. It's been a few weeks since you guys were here last. So it takes her a bit longer than she would have liked, but she is able to eventually start tracking these goblins, and the tracks are leading towards uh, or they're actually traveling along this river, and so you travel along this river into the woods for a decent amount of time. At this point, it's getting pretty late, and following the trail, you come across this large cave in the hillside. Um, Probably at this point, you've traveled about 5 miles into the thicket at this point, and you can see that the stream that you guys have been following um, actually goes into the mouth of the cave, and there are a bunch of briar thickets all around. Um, but you can see that from where you are, you've gotten relatively close to the cave entrance at this point, and you can see that off to the side there does appear to be a small pathway um, next to the stream that you could actually walk into the cave.
Uh, like, how big is this? Does it look like it's somewhere that a dragon could fit in, or does it look like it's just somewhere with the goblins?
It looks at this point it's probably just goblins. The mouth of the cave is not that large.
Okay.
Um,
Let me scout ahead and see what I can find.
all right.
I'll message back to you.
And I will
And
cast guidance on you.
Should Aviana go with you?
Aviana, how good at you are stealthing?
This is where you all are.
That's all black to me.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'll have to update your every time I add your tokens, it doesn't remember that you're supposed to have sight, which technically, actually, nobody except Ilbrin and Celia should have sight, actually.
I'll cast light on my staff.
But unfortunately, once again, Roll20 is being absolutely stupid and it will not let me use the cogwheel on your tokens to update this. I don't know why it doesn't remember this, and I have to add this every single time I add to a map.
Uh, if you want to do it, like when you have the token set up, you have to delete it from like when you put it in the profile as like remember this token. You have to do it once it's completely set up how you want to remember it. Otherwise, it will only remember as you had it before.
Yeah, I've tried that.
Oh, that's not working. Roll20 just sucks again.
Lalith, can you see anything?
No.
Ugh.
But technically, I shouldn't be able to.
Yeah, you shouldn't be able to, but this is so annoying that like I can when I click on it, the little cogwheel shows up, which is where you would go in and add this, but it does not do anything when I click on it. Try and just refresh. Of course, then closes all the additional windows I had open. So while I'm waiting for this to reload, I'll try to take pictures tomorrow of the live show.
And I'll just does she actually have pretty good stealth or?
Yeah.
I'm just assuming she must because she's a ranger. That's kind of the only reason I suggested it.
Yeah, I mean, she could pass
Yeah.
without a trace.
That's what I was hoping before I rolled. That's why I was asking before I rolled.
Yeah, she essentially, because I'm cheap like that, I basically just made her the equivalent of Vex. So she actually, in addition to the Ranger class, she also has, I believe, 2 to 3 levels in Rogue.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that 9 turns into a 19 with pass without a trace. Because
Yeah,
I
she-
have a +6, and once again, fuck me with the dice.
Yeah, she'll cast it.
And by the way, it landed on a 19 and then tilted. This is why I wish, oh God, we could use actual dice.
I wish we could too, just because I actually like to roll dice, but
So do I, and I have 32 sets of dice, and I have some really amazing metal dice that I have that are balanced, but for some reason roll great for me. And here I'm just like, yeah, it's a 1. It's a 1 plus your 8. And I'm like, I want to punch the screen.
Yeah, I've only just bought my first set of dice today.
Yeah, I have, well, right now I have 30 sets, no, 20 sets of dice. I've got 12 more sets coming in with the Kraken Kickstarter. So I'll have 32 sets of dice soon. And I still have a couple of sets of dice that I won't let anyone touch but me because they're like attuned to me in my brain. And like when I roll them, they roll real well. And so like my husband is like looking at my dice and he'll be like, "Oh, hey, these are cool." And I'm like, "Don't fucking touch them. I'm really weird about that." Like these are only my dice. Don't touch them. If you touch them, it's gonna mess it all up. Because I'm like
we
Laura
found our
Bailey.
Laura Bailey. Yeah, so we found our Laura Bailey.
Yeah, I'm a very Laura Bailey in so many ways because I totally understand her and I do have dice gels and yeah, I'm very, very skeptical about all of my dice. I'm like, I don't even put them. I the 2 metal sets that roll really well for me only go in one bag together to influence each other. All the other dice I have are go in certain bags together because if I took one from one bag and put it in another, it would roll worse. Like, yeah, I'm crazy, basically. That's just, yeah.
All right, can everybody see now?
Yes, I
Yes.
can.
I could.
Yeah, I'm trying to zoom in because it's
Yeah, it's
really
bottom left
tiny.
hand corner, and this is very small. There's actually some of the maps I've got are even smaller, where the each square is actually 10 feet. So you're looking at like you're even tinier because you can actually have two people in one square.
Oh my gosh, she's so pretty. I'm going to make Vax's sister, my girlfriend. 100%.
Yeah, I actually had originally. That's not the original picture that I had of her. I actually had like a fan art of Vex that looked kind of like Vex, but kind of not. It was like, oh, I'll use that. But then I was like, I found that picture. It's like, I actually like that better. So
Yep.
she will cast Pass Without a Trace. So everybody that wants to do stealth can do stealth plus 10.
Oh yeah, considering this is going to be at disadvantage for me.
Astrid will take a moment to
Hey, 12 is better than 2.
to do that, and she will get herself proficiency in stealth for 10 minutes to hopefully help with this.
That's amazing.
Well, don't we all also have plus 10?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my god. Like, how are you more stealthy than me?
That proficiency did help.
I gotta pull up stuff closed when I refresh.
So, I'm going to scout ahead. So, I'm going to move 15 feet into the bushes and use my hide ability to hide and report back.
Okay.
So, guys, I see 2 goblins in front of me. Um, it's on the other side of the tree line across from you. You may want to hide or just run in. It's probably where I am across the river is going to be your best bet to get past the tree line.
33 stealth.
And considering like what you've
And
just said, is it possible with Astrid and Richter with their light spells up for me to see
well,
that goblin?
I cast that on her first, and then I cast that on Layla second. So, and I even at the end said, Layla, talk to her, and or talk to Aviana, because Aviana is closer to me, and she would know.
Well, when you mention that, she is going to come over here with the 33 stealth. They're not going to be able to see her. Going to come over here, and she has. She can probably.
If
So
I see her run over, can I also run over before combat engages?
you can, but she's getting a sneak attack right now, and so she actually just killed this one.
Because I still have. I actually still have enough to get right behind her or in front of her. It'd have to be in front of her due to the bank and try and shoot the other one.
Well, she gets 2 attacks, and she actually killed them both.
Oh, okay.
But what's ridiculous is she killed them both, and on both of her attack rolls, I rolled a 1 on both of them. However,
Dang.
with Fenthras, it's a plus 14 to hit.
Yeah.
So I rolled 15s to hit them, which is their armor class, and then killed them. So they're dead.
All right, guys. Well, she killed them, so let's move
This
forward.
is why you take her to fight dragons. Because goblins are no problem.
Well, considering I've got no. Actually, no. What? I'll take a torch out and put the shield away,
Okay.
so I can technically see now.
Yeah, and so Valora is not the. Although she may never have hit 20, but Valora's level 18, so she's a 13 ranger and a 5 rogue. So
Oh, damn. I wonder what's up with the gray hunt that Vex gave her Fenthras.
I'll have to find out. Possibly could be that she just retired after 5 kids, didn't have a need for it anymore.
All right. Well, I moved up to the front because I need to scout out the location.
Isn't the front the opposite way? Isn't the
Is it?
cave like over in here?
Oh,
Yep.
which direction is the front?
North.
Okay, then I would have stayed there. So, going into the water, yes?
I hope my hair does not get too wet.
Technically, I already stepped there, but I'm stealth. Do I need to roll stealth again? Because I hadn't attacked.
Yeah, we'll still fine,
I can roll again with plus 10 because it would still be active.
but it doesn't.
All right, and I will back up and message. We've got a bunch of cats, panthers on the other side. And I send it to Aviana, and then I send this to, um, actually, I send the same message to Ilbrin.
Got my map zoomed in too far. I forgot he was down there.
Sorry, Richter. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm terrible. Okay, which icon is Richter and which one's Ilbrin?
I'm just the average looking human.
Yeah. Elbrin's the elf with the.
I'm right there.
Okay, then Richter. Because Ilbrin would not be near where I'm trying to see.
Right. I would ask, are they close together?
Yes.
I can hit a lot of them, but it would be quite loud.
Um, is that all right if it's quite loud that we attack these?
Probably isn't a great idea.
If I could get close enough, I can try to set them on fire.
Or Viviana and I could step out and shoot them.
I also have javelins, of which I can hit them with.
You're not going to be able to get there, I think, in time.
How far in are they?
right in the middle from what I saw real quick. But I stepped back as soon as I saw them. Aviana, trade places with me. Can you stealth forward and see? And should they come in?
Richter's gonna look to Zalia and like point and say, "Hold on. Are they in further? Are they just deep in the cave?"
They're not in the cave.
They're in an
There's a
outcropping
stairship.
to the east. They're about 20 feet in.
Yeah, they're inside an offshoot to the cave.
Oh, yes. If
If
let,
you want to go first and try and burn them, you can, but us trying to shoot them around you is going to be hard.
uh, well, if I'm successful in sneaking up on them, I plan on running right back out so you could shoot them as they run towards us.
That sounds alright. Aviana, do you have any problems with him sneaking in, Richter, and burning them, and then us going in to finish the job? Aviana?
Sorry, my Discord just cutting out. I didn't hear.
I said, do you have any problem with Ilbrin going in?
Richter?
Richter, sorry. I'm looking at Ilbrin's token now. Richter going in and burning them, running out, and us trying to shoot the ones that still made it. I will go in with you, but is it okay to let him go first? Or do you have other ideas? You can reply to this message.
She's standing right next to you.
I know. And I'm still messaging her, which is weird.
Worth a shot.
All right.
Yeah, Richter will point you two back a little bit and probably ask Layla to be right by the freaking mouth as he runs out.
Okay, so we should move back.
Well, yeah, because I mean, if you're saying they're around this corner, my plan is to run up, shoot them with burning hands, and then run right back out, where they'll probably chase me if they're not dead, and then you guys could shoot, and Layla will be there to intercept them.
All right.
So, do I still have +10 to stealth?
Yep.
So 23. I would move 1, 2. Ooh. All right. I see at least 3 of them. Would I be able to get all 3 of these in my cone?
What's the?
It's a 15-foot cone.
Yeah.
All right. Then I will cast Burning Hands on them at level 2. And this should. Why did it start off on level 2? That's weird. Yeah, that worked. No, wait. It should be a 46 because I cast at level 2. It only did 3. Oh, no, it did. It worked. All right. So, yeah. So they all. It's a DC 15 deck save.
Right. 18, 17, 3.
So 2 of them take 6, and then 1 of them takes 12. And I run back 1, 2, and I will end my turn right there.
So, everybody roll initiative.
Wow. 20, 21, 22.
Yeah, I'm now +9. If only my thieves' tools work that way.
Just have to try and find you a skeleton key.
Yes.
Right, any day now, roll 20.
Do you use Mozilla? Or what
I use Firefox.
yeah, I use Mozilla Firefox as well. Anytime I click on anything, it gives me a question whether or not I want to stop an add-on. And I
Yeah.
stop it, and it automatically starts to help.
Well, I think this one is laggy for even me because I think the fog of war that you have on is making it terrible. Like
Yeah.
You see,
the gray out of bounds stuff is like every time it has what everything is
It
in
doesn't
there.
do that to me. Stop on the usually. It's just until then I have to stop it.
Oh, oh yeah,
on.
the only thing is, yeah. Okay.
Oh, and now I see that there's somebody there. Shit.
Yeah, this thing is so not. I swear these the monsters in this game are all freaking broken. Like none of their initiatives ever freaking work. Right, well, this way then. Yeah, so now even that's not. It doesn't recognize that these tokens even exist.
Just write it down by hand, I guess, and move through it that way, I suppose. If you need some dice, I can roll some. I've got a lot.
You just really want to roll dice, don't you?
Well, I'm just saying, I literally, like, there's times where I'm like, I just really wish I could roll my dice and take pictures. But I'm also an auditor, so I'm like, yeah, if somebody rolls dice and then takes a picture, who said they didn't knock the dice to be what they wanted it to be? Because my whole job is ensuring the data is accurate. So I don't trust people, but I wish people would trust me because I'm actually extremely ethical. Because I'm a certified ethical hacker and my job is based on ethics. So I'm like, just let me roll the fucking dice. Whatever it turns out to be, I'm not gonna fake it. But yeah.
All right. Just did it all manually. It was a pain in the ass. Zalia, you are first.
Okay, I'm going to run here. God help me. Sorry, having problems with my character sheet. I am going to, and they were all hit with what, 12 damage?
Two of them were hit with 6, and one of them is hit with 12. Yeah.
I'm going to double. I can't dagger attack. Hold on. Am I in, like, literally in the water?
Yes. It's not particularly deep water. I mean, it's basically just past your knees. So
I'm going to stay in that and hit one with the short bow because I can't actually reach them. So, short bow damage it is. I'm going for the one in the middle.
okay, that hits. 9 points of piercing damage. You hear a sad sort of yelp.
Can I use my bonus action for eye for detail? So I know whether or not they have a special disadvantage. No, that's not what I meant. Insightful fighting.
Turns out they're weak to death.
They got to make an insight check.
Yes, versus my...
Your insight check versus my deception check.
Oh, of course, of course.
They
a
are
one.
invincible.
18, 13, 10. They all beat your 2.
Yep. Yep. Because this character is apparently destined for the pits of hell. No other character has ever rolled this shitty, and I'm so very angry about it, but yes.
Astrid.
Okay,
It's your turn.
Astrid will 5, 10, 15, 20. And she will hold her attack until she can see. And she'll move maybe over here. Yep. So if an enemy comes closer, she will.
All right. Valve, you're up.
5, 10, 15. I will stay here and just draw my sword and wait. Actually, no, I'll fighting spirit and wait. Sorry.
All right. So it's Valora's turn. Here. God, this bow is so stupid. 33 to hit. I guess that hits. She doesn't do much damage, though. That is the one downfall of Rangers, is in 5e, they do not do a lot of damage, even with this weapon. Still enough to kill this one, but when you do 33 to hit and only 13 points of damage, it's kind of disappointing. So she killed that one, and she has a second attack. 22 to hit, but she only does 11 points of damage because I rolled a 1 on my damage. So that one is still up. And that is her turn. So now...
No hunter's mark?
I forgot. I have 100 mark, and I forgot.
Yep. So did Bax.
All right. This one is going to come up here and attempt to attack. Let's see. And I get advantage because of pack. Rolled a natural 20 on my advantage. So, in addition to the 13 points of piercing damage that you take, Lalith, you need to make a strength saving throw. Which was a DC of 11. So you are in fact knocked prone as well.
I take half damage. So do I take 6 or 7? Oh, 7 or 8, sorry.
You take 6 points of damage. 13.
Okay.
Richter, it is your turn.
All right. Seeing everyone kind of just running in there. 2, 3, 4, 5. Can I squeeze a shot in by Lalith with a Ray of Frost?
He's prone, so yeah, you could go over.
All right. All part of the plan. Yeah, I'll try a Ray of Frost on that wolf.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right, so that just turns it into a giant ice cube, and it shatters into pieces.
Richter kind of looks a little bit surprised at himself and just ends his turn right there.
Right. It is the remaining wolf's turn. This you're dead. So it's gonna come up. It does not get advantage. It actually gets advantage because you're prone. It doesn't get advantage for back anymore because everything else is dead. 18
Hits.
hits. Okay, so I only roll 1 on the damage, so you take half damage, so you take 2 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
It's now Ilbrin's turn. He's gonna come up here. He's gonna do Shocking Grasp. He misses. Move back. And Zalia.
Alright, I am going to move up and double attack Scepter and Dagger. Or Scimitar and Dagger. That misses, yes.
It does. But that killed it. So that is it. We're out of combat.
Well, can I look at the bodies and try and, I guess, make some sort of history check as to why they'd be here?
We're in the forest.
Yeah, I guess.
From what you can gather around this room, is this does appear that these wolves were kept here, so they weren't living here. That they do have like food and stuff, and it appears that they had like some small amount of like bedding and stuff. So it appears that they were probably pets of some type.
Richter's gonna move out of the way and let Zalia and Valera go forward because they're quiet and he's not.
And Pass with the Trace lasts for an hour or so.
And has it been 10 minutes yet?
Probably.
Okay.
Actually, before they walk off, I'm just gonna ask if they perhaps want Aster to just send Maggie in.
I mean,
I,
Laura can send Hano as well.
guys.
Although she can't see through it or his eyes, but
Guys, there's a few goblins at the end of this tunnel that I'm in front of. Do you want to go by or kill them?
Do we have to go that way, or what's to your left?
To our
that's what she's
left,
talking about.
all
Oh,
I can see is goblins. To our right, it's just a tunnel.
I don't know about you all, but I would rather not leave stuff to come up behind us if we make noise.
So what you can see at this point is that what you're looking at to the left there, Zalia, is you probably actually, even though, I mean, there's no way to make this not possible, but you probably can't see what you see right now, which is that because this this tunnel that you're looking through right here is actually like this very steep incline up. So you really would, so those goblins are way above us at the moment, so we wouldn't really be able to see them. And then off to the side, to the northeast, there appears to be like a rickety bridge that's up above us as well. So like if we went, we would be walking under that bridge.
Alright, well,
Valora agrees that we should not leave things to come and kill us later.
Richter,
Then-
would you care to swap a light for a light?
Whatever you need me to cast light on, I will gladly.
I'm gonna pull my shield back out. Could you cast it on this, and I'll pass you a torch?
Yeah, I cast it on his shield for him. And I'll hold on to the torch in my other hand.
And so I'd make a dexterity saving throw to see if you can climb that.
of course.
So we know there's goblins up there.
Why do I roll so many natural ones?
Wait a minute, that's something. Hold on. Okay, so you take 7 points of bludgeoning damage as you slip and fall back down.
Would you care for me to climb up first?
Well, everybody who climbs up this is going to have to make a dexterity saving throw, and it's a DC of 10, so it's not a very particularly difficult one. It's just you rolled badly. So
Could I make a play for athletics?
nope. Everybody's got to do dexterity.
Crushed it.
Oh, I got it. I was gonna say I'll turn around and offer like my hand to Astrid, but she's better than me.
He's just climbing ahead.
Valora has no problems whatsoever.
I wonder why.
She has a plus 11 to dexterity. All right, so as we'll say that we're all able to make it up this climb, but as we get up here, we should probably all roll stealth as well, because there are a crap ton of goblins up here. So plus 10 still.
50.
20.
Ow, I only rolled a 9, so I just got 19 now. All right. Here. Ilbrin rolls 7. Ilbrin's doing better than Laura as far as stealth is concerned. All right. So at this point, as we're getting up, we're gonna have to do. I'm gonna give Valora a surprise attack on the first one, and then we'll have to roll initiative. So as Valora gets up to the top, she puts an arrow through the back of one of these goblins' heads and kills it. And then everybody roll initiative. And what's the over under on the initiative looking for these goblins?
All right, Zaya, you're gonna have to throw your computer away and get a new one.
Yeah, I have a +9. How do I have a +9 and have a 5?
Initiative doesn't take into effect your proficiency, right?
I think you can change it in the settings.
And not surprisingly, it does.
And hold on, I just rolled a 5 and it is +9.
+4. I thought you rolled a 5 +4.
No, I'm +9.
Okay, so if you go into attributes and abilities at the top of your sheet, you can scroll down to initiative and just type it in there. That should change it for you. It should be underneath the sanity check.
I thought I already did that. Yeah, initiative has +9.
Well, I didn't update it. So your initiative would be a 10 then. Because you rolled a 1 and then you had 9. I'm gonna have to manually do this for these stupid goblins anyway.
But why isn't it taking my 9 into account?
All right, real quick, where you're doing your where you're doing the initiative, don't put 9, put +5.
But I'm literally +9.
Yes, but it's already going to take into effect your dexterity mod. This is just for bonus. So if you got it from a feat or something, that's what that's going to be from.
Yeah, they're talking about going into the actual like.
Oh no, I know. I'm going into it.
But yeah, if you just put 9, that's why it's not coming up, because you need to put either plus or minus. So it's going to be a +5 because it's going to add that to your +4.
Yeah, and I put +9.
Well, I don't know, but it's not supposed to be +9. It's supposed to be the +5 because it should already take the 4 into account.
Okay, I'm trying to change it. All right.
Do
I
you
don't
have
know which.
you? The only thing I can think of is you can't have your sheet popped out when you're doing it.
Oh. Oh, then how do I?
No,
No, I'm
like I'm
not
saying, you
popped
can't have
out.
it popped out when you have it when you're actually putting it in.
Well, no, it wasn't popped out. It's internal. Because it says you gain +5 bonus initiative for alert, and I already had +4 or +5, so I added no +4, so I added 5. I don't I don't know what's going on with Roll20.
All right, Astrid, you're first. We'll figure it out
Okay.
later.
And I'm assuming Astrid can just climb over everybody. Or she's just
Your movement would be halved at this point.
okay. 5. She would end up right on top of Zalia. Can I just right there?
That's fine.
Okay. She will use a new spell and toll the dead. This guy.
Gesture spell.
And then just for a little added flavor, rather than like a large church bell or a gong type bell or something, I imagine it more like a little like, for lack of a better term, like a little jingle bell that kind of jingles around as if there's some unseen creature getting closer and closer to the goblin before finally attacking.
So that's weird. This is say a wisdom. So is it on the 13 and it's not your spell DC? Like I don't get why it has 13 and 17 if it's a wisdom save or take damage.
Yeah, that I don't know. I had to put it in myself, so I may have done something.
What's your
It's not a spell attack.
what's your spell DC?
It is 15.
Okay, so I need to be a 15 on a wisdom. I have a -1 to wisdom. This is bonus. That's a so Goblin has a -1 to wisdom, and I rolled a 1, so he has 0.
Then I'm assuming he hasn't been damaged, so he would take the first one. 6.
Right. So that unwise goblin takes the damage and appears to be pretty hurt, actually. Richter, you are up.
Is it like plausible for me to move through these, like my party?
At half speed, you could move through these
Okay, so
through the group.
10, 20. Well, then I can't because I would end on Astrid. Actually, no, I could do 10, 20. So I'll get right here, and since I can't see anything, I'll just hold a ray of frost in case anything comes in range.
Okay. This is Goblin's turn. He's going to attempt to shoot Valora. And miss. And it is Valora's turn. Move down here. And she'll kill the one that was told. Other one. Man, I keep rolling 1s on my damage.
Still a lot of damage.
Yeah, I rolled a 1 on damage and then did 14 points of damage. So. All right. It is Ilbrin's turn. He can move up there. Goblin's dead. This one's going to move down here. Attempt to floor with the scimitar. Wow. I rolled a natural 20. He takes 8 points of damage. But she's level 18. So she takes 8 points of damage and has 128 hit points. Lalith, it is your turn.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I will fighting spirit. I will attack the one on my right. Does a 14 hit?
He's not.
Okay, I will hold for now.
All right. Turn. He will come up here. Advantage and attack you with scimitar. 6. So it misses. Zalia.
I'm going to attack the one on the right of him with a scimitar.
And you slice him into pieces.
And move across. And hold on. Yeah, I can't move any more than this, can I?
It would have been 10 feet just to move to your first spot. So
Oh.
technically
Yeah.
you actually couldn't even make it that far. That's as far as you could get.
Yeah, so I'm going to slash the other one with a dagger attack.
Okay. Definitely hits. He's still up.
And I'm going to bonus action disengage. I still get 30 movement from that, right?
Isn't the second attack a bonus action?
Oh, yes. Yes. Yes, it is. Alright, I'm staying where I am.
All right. It is that goblin that you just stabbed's turn, and he's going to attempt to return the favor. 19 to hit.
Hit.
But I once again rolled a 1 on my damage. So you take 4 points slashing damage. And now we are back to Astra's turn.
Okay, Astrid will move there. And toll the dead again, and she'll go after that one. And this time, I'm assuming that's the one that Zalia attacked.
Yeah.
Then he would take the 14 instead.
Five. Just to check. So he is dead.
Just a confused look on his face is ding ling ling.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to move or?
She only did 10, so yeah, she'll go back a little.
All right, Richter.
All right. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Richter wants to get up top of the stairs. And I will. I'm up above this one, right?
Yeah.
So can I cast a Ray of Frost down at him?
Yeah.
All right. And I think since I'm in melee range of the other one, it's at disadvantage, right?
Correct.
16.
That's the 16 still hits.
All right. Only 2 damage, but and Richter's gonna shout out, there's someone up here.
All right, is the one behind you's turn. 20 to hit,
Oh yeah.
and you take 10 points of slashing damage.
Alrighty.
I don't think she's gonna be able to do that, so she'll just move or move here. All right. That one's dead. As she pierces it to the side of the wall. And where she's standing, I don't think she can hit the other one. Here. I think from there she might be able to hit it, so. She actually misses on that. Ilbrin's turn. 10, 20. He can only move to there, and they can't do anything. And then that goblin is dead. Oh, Lalith, it is your.
Okay. 5, 10. Can I get to there from the stairs, or do I have to go to here?
Yeah, you'd have to go there.
Okay. Still attacking with advantage.
It hits.
I'm going to action surge and strike the one on my left again.
That also hit. And he's looking pretty rough. But still up.
Yep, and that's me.
All right, Sally, you're up.
All right. I will move.
If you want to shoot, I would say back up to where Valora is, since this is actually way above you. But if you go back to the back of the cave, you can get a shot on it. Otherwise, you can run up there and stab him.
Yeah, I kind of want to run up there and stab him. I'm going to stab this one twice.
Oh, yeah, it's dead.
And then run around. and stab this one.
All right.
Richter is looking at you extremely confused.
He's dead. And that's what. And we're out of combat.
That's not a goblin, right? It's just a different picture to me.
Yeah.
No, that was not a goblin.
Did he attack us?
His hands are tied. He was a hostage, and now he's dead.
Oh, geez, I didn't know that. I'm sorry. I'm very tired, and I have been working long hours. Maybe.
That's why Richter was. He was like, there's someone up here."
Shit. Sorry. I've slept probably about 7 hours in the last 3 days.
It's
So
all good.
yeah, all good, but not really good for my personal health. But yeah, I did not even think about it. Sorry.
So Richter wants to just go over the body, see if there's any sort of like keys or anything like that on any of them, like if there's any sort of clues to what's going on here.
Could I technically bring that guy back up if I poured a health potion in his mouth?
No, he was already injured.
Oh.
So that was basically a failed death save.
Shit. Sorry, guys.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, he wasn't going to play like a gigantic role or anything. So it's not like, you just killed like a major plot line or anything.
Yeah, it just sucks because I'm like listening to the game and also partially falling asleep at the same time. I'm having some trouble personally, so trying to keep up.
Do an investigation check to check all the. Okay. You see that these goblins don't have a whole lot on the dude up here who appeared to have been the leader. You find 3 gold teeth, which he probably pulled from people's mouths. They're worth about 1 gold each.
Richter is gonna just kind of drop them on the floor, not kind of being grossed out.
You also find some papers that appear to be written in Goblin, which I don't think anybody speaks.
Nope. I'll take them though.
And that's about all you find.
All right.
I don't. Gilbert doesn't speak Gnomish.
Well,
Sorry.
there's nowhere else to go up here.
Yeah, sorry I stabbed that last one. It was instinct. I apologize. I'll try and be more careful in the future.
He would seem to be in rough shape, like he was suffering. I don't think it's the worst thing that you've done. And Richter kind of just like gives her like a little bit of a wink.
Yeah, probably not.
Well,
Alright.
and another option for this fight is that the dude up here, I didn't do it, but one of the options given for this encounter is that goblin pushes him off the edge and kills him anyway. So, so again, it's like I said, this wasn't like, oh my god, this was supposed to be a huge part of the story. Like it's just, it wasn't that big of a deal that he's dead. So. Also saves me from having to roleplay again. Some random dude. It's like, oh no, help me. All right, so we still have Pass Without a Trace, but Valora's gonna move this direction here.
And I'm going to actually grab dinner because my husband cooked it for me, but I'll be back here in like 2 minutes.
That's cool.
So I'm guessing we should all roll stealth again.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, now I'm on shit.
14!
Wow, really? That's Valora's.
That's insane.
Let me do Ilman here.
Apparently none of us are stealthy to save our lives.
We got a very... Oh, in Ilbrin.
Ilbrin, man, he's nailing the stealth.
And Astrid over 26.
32 from Ilbrin. 26 from Astrid. So Richter is about as stealthy as the person in the lead here. Crossing over this bridge here. And just be careful because the way that the lighting on this works is kind of odd, where it doesn't like light up the bridge for some reason, but you're basically just going straight across. Can't see it. I can actually move you.
Yeah, you just gotta go across it and it brings you onto the next part of the map.
Yeah, just the way that the dynamic lighting is working, it just is odd. Oops. No Rascal instead of Zalia. All right, so let's do, while we're in here, let's do a investigation. Oberon has a 0 investigation.
Astrid can do it.
I'll assist whoever wants to do it if you let me. I don't know if I'm too far back, though.
Wow. Okay. And with a 19, let's see what we find here. So you see that there are a couple of pools of water in this cave here. There's a narrow waterfall over in this direction. If everybody wants to move over to the east here. There don't appear to be any enemies in this vicinity.
No enemies.
Well, to the south there may be some, but for the room that we're in at the moment, so there's a little bit of a waterfall here. It looks like they're trying to control the flow of water here with these dams. So it looks like either these goblins are a bit smarter than the ones that you've come across, in like the Tortel Keep, or there are other things taking place here that I'm not quite sure about. But I'll say from where we're standing now, Zali is able to see, because these stairs right here are going up, so we have to climb these steps a little bit, but there does appear to be some noise up above.
I mean, I'm also pretty
chattering.
tall, so I could probably just look up.
Yeah, And there do appear to be, I mean, from what you can see and what you can hear, there do appear to be more enemies up here.
Do we want to let Zalia and Valera take a couple of shots to see if they go thin it out?
Yeah, let's see about doing another stealth check to see if we can get up there. All right, 33.
Sorry, just got back.
Oh, you're fine. Do a stealth check if you want to come up and with Laura to shoot things. Oh yeah, 35. Even though that's probably not right. I'm gonna come up here. My stealth. If you want to come up here, I'll shoot one and you shoot the other. So, well, we've got.
Should I be closer than this, or?
I might say this. You're there. You could probably fire at it. So, do we want to shoot the ones over here? You shoot that one in front of you.
Yeah.
And then I'll shoot the one back here. And then after we do that, we will do initiative.
Damn.
So yours misses. Mine barely hits. But it does kill that one. So, everybody roll initiative.
Second time tonight, natural 20 on initiative.
I'm going to actually attack the big dude in the back.
Okay.
Can I disengage?
No.
Nope, because that's your dagger attack, your bonus attack, or
Yeah,
bonus action.
no. Yeah, okay.
And it is his turn. Zalia with advantage, which I miss even with advantage. So, Richter, it is your turn.
All right. Richter will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. And the one in front of Zalia, I am. Is he like staring at her like he's focused on her?
Yeah.
I'm gonna try one of my new spells, and I'm gonna cast a phantasmal force on him. I'm gonna make it look like. I just want him to look like he's on fire. Like he's gonna think he's on fire, and unless he passes that save, he is gonna take damage each turn.
I rolled a 14.
So yeah, so he will believe that he's on fire, and at the each round on your turn, the phantasm deals 1d6 psychic damage to the target if it's still within 5 feet. So I just want it to be like a cloud of fire, like swirling around him. And I don't know if that would take place on this current turn or not.
Use action to examine it, and then against another. So, what is your spell DC?
DC 15.
Okay, so so it's on your turn and not its turn. Each round on your turn, the phantasm can deal 1d6.
So do I do it this turn as well since he failed? If he's taking it this time, it's 2 psychic damage.
Yeah, sure. We'll just.
And I'm pretty sure no one else even sees anything. It's just all in his head.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So to everyone else, it looks like Richter did absolutely nothing.
All right, Astrid, it's your turn.
Okay, Astrid will come here and will toll the dead, the big guy.
I just picture you walking around now with like a little fucking dinner bell. Ding, 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 ding.
All right, that hit.
Remember, it's the DC. I'll
Okay.
fix the thing later. Then you would take the 6 damage one.
All right, and just what's annoying, Richter, for your spell, it was DC 15, and I rolled a 15, but he has a -1 to intelligence.
Well, I mean, you did roll a 0 on something before.
Yeah. All right. Is that your turn, Astrid?
Yep.
Right. So Ilbrin is going to come up here. He is going to cast. He's got some new stuff too. What have we got here? He's gonna cast Chromatic Orb. This never works for him, so I'm gonna.
It worked.
It worked. So, wow, he just killed the wolf.
Okay then.
So it is Valor's turn. She almost kills him. She has a second attack, and she kills him. He was going to attempt to run away because his wolf died, but Valora pierces him with 2 arrows, and
he was on fire.
And he was also on fire.
I don't know why, but I love that spell. I absolutely love Phantasmal Force.
It is a pretty cool spell. I don't think I've ever seen it before, actually. I just like the idea that like it's all in their head, but they still take damage from it.
Mm-hmm. I'll again go around and look to see if there's any more notes or anything like that on these guys.
And Astrid will help with that as well.
19.
All right. So, what you find you see some all of these goods and everything that you see around the little cave here. Um, you see that they're marked, and they appear to be goods that have been stolen from Kymel. Um, you also find 600 copper pieces, 110 silver pieces. You find 50 gold pieces.
Mm-hmm.
You find 2 potions of healing.
Okay.
You find a jade statue, or statuette, smaller than a statue, a jade statuette of a frog, and it has these tiny golden orbs for eyes. Um, it's worth about 40 gold pieces, um, but it's pretty small. Like you could put it in a pouch or pocket
Okay.
or anything. You also find um, what appears to be um, underneath some of these stolen goods. There does appear to be uh, a trap door of sorts. It appears it was originally like a natural sort of opening in the cave, but it has been sort of like fashioned a little bit to be more usable. So there is a trap door. Doesn't appear to be locked, and when you open it up, there is like what appears to be like a rope ladder going down.
Okay. Um, I'm going to ask everyone if they mind taking 10 minutes for me to cast Detect Magic just because all these goods have been stolen and it's worth a shot.
Well, we also have a little bit more of the cave to investigate if you wish to stay here.
Where else do we have to investigate?
To the northeast, northwest.
Oh, I thought that bridge was what we walked over.
Yeah, it is. And just to save you the hassle of going through it, that loops around. So like where when you go under, if you went under the bridge,
Ah,
it would
okay,
actually
yep.
it would actually just loop back to where like the water is. So
Never mind then. I didn't say
yeah.
anything.
So yeah, I'll sit down and I'll do my ritual for Detect Magic just in case they stole anything magical. And as I found all the stuff, I would offer all of it to Laylis because he has a bag of holding, and it would be much easier than me trying to carry it. So I'll kind of point to a pile of like coins and stuff and say, do you think you could put that in your new bag?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Oh,
Could someone type what all of it
yeah, yeah,
was?
yeah. Here, I got it right here. 600 copper, 110 silver, 50 gold, the 2 potions. I was gonna give one to you and one to Zalia.
so as you cast a spell, there doesn't appear to be anything magical.
Okay.
Mostly just sundries and things that they appeared to have taken.
Is there any liquor?
Yeah,
I'll point that out to Layla as well.
there's a
Uh,
few cases of what appears to be ale, and there's like sugar and just like your regular like there's ropes and
oh, free booze if you want any, Layla.
Well, we also have a tankard which produces dwarven ale.
Did anybody buy that?
No, we've still got it. Oh no, no,
No,
no,
but
we didn't. No, it's just in this
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, it's just in the thing, but nobody actually bought it.
So, yeah, I mean, you can have some free booze if you want it.
I probably wouldn't take booze from a goblin den. You never know where it's
Eh,
been.
true. Zalia, I found 2 healing potions. I gave you one and Layla's one.
Oh, thank you.
And I know you're doing most of the money stuff, but I gave the others, like I gave all that stuff to him that I found because he has the bag of holding.
Makes sense.
And then also they found
A
trapdoor.
trapdoor. Um. So if Richter looks over everyone, does everyone seem like they're not hurt and stuff like that?
Yes, I could also heal someone if you require healing.
I think Zalia's the only one who took any damage.
No,
Well,
no, I got whacked once.
oh, okay.
I mean,
Um.
if we wish, we can spend half an hour before going down.
But that would only help the healers heal us, but it would not give them like actual more healing spots.
True, but we could also recuperate on our own.
Can you do that in 30 minutes?
Well,
I
he
think a short
does.
rest is like an hour or so.
Yeah, a short rest is an
Yeah.
hour, but
Well, an hour.
you can roll.
I'm good to take a short rest. I'll look to Valora and say, "You're not in a complete rush. Do you mind if we sit for a few minutes to regain ourselves?"
She's fine.
All right. Then I will also use my arcane recovery and get a level 2 spell slot back.
I'm going to spend one hit dice.
I'm back to 100. See now am I going to be greedy and use one more hit dice for 1 HP? And yes, I am.
Also, who were we giving those potions to? Was it one to me and one
One
to
to
Zalia?
each. Yeah, one to each of the people who like to get up in there.
Okay.
Because Aster, you said you had 3, right? So you didn't need any more.
Yes, I have 3. I'm good.
All right. And then when we're done, can I just smell the liquor? Does it smell bad?
No, I mean all this stuff actually appears to be recently stolen.
I'm
That
gonna
was
take
the
a
other
sip.
thing, Zali. You may have missed that. Like, there's a in the room that you're in. There's a bunch of stolen goods from Kymel.
Let me look through those real quick.
I think that's where I found most of this stuff, right?
Yeah, this one, most of the stuff. I mean, you see, it's mostly just assorted sundries. So it's just like it's sugar, it's salt, it's hardtack and beef jerky, and there's some ale, and there's some rope, and a few utility knives and things like that. These all appear to be things that were stolen that were somewhat useful for living in a cave, not anything like overly um, valuable or spectacular. And as everybody is resting and everything, Hano comes over here and just starts picking at the wolf, eating.
And this guy didn't have any sort of cool weapon on him or anything.
No, he just a basic Morning Star.
Okay. Well, uh, now I would suggest we send Maggie down this to make sure it's safe at the bottom at least.
Yeah, that sounds good with me. I will go see what Maggie.
All right, and so what you see, we will pick up next time because it's getting pretty late, and Zali hasn't slept in days, so
Sounds good.
it's almost